Oh, and it did that thing. Cool. Welcome to the show that you've come to love and that 7.5 billion human beings have led into their homes and hearts. I, of course, am your host of Crypto Cringe Show, Jeff Bezos, and I'm here with Crypto Satire Man, Gordon Freeman, and Jax, who is far better known than any of us. Gordon, how are we?
The Jax?
The Jax. We got him. We hooked him.
Not just Ajax.
I actually flew out to space and plucked him from the stars and brought him back with me.
Ding.
Impressive. Sweet. Hey, can you drop a link to this so that I could share it live?
Oh, you know I'd love to be that advanced. I want you to know, with my millions and billions of dollars, that I'm still down to earth and using a streaming service that is suboptimal. The best way I know how.
AWS as your servers?
You know,
Bezos?
It's just, I gotta get back into my own pockets a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see,
It'll cost you your hair.
it will. I'm gonna make this happen. I promise.
I believe you.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, they should give me an option to give you that link. But no, I actually have to go to the live stream and pull it up. That's how advanced we are.
What do they call it for all the Trekkie stuff, like being a level 1 civilization versus level 2?
This is why we have the Crypto Cringe Show holding place, which none of you can see, but I can see. Well, I mean, they can see, but you guys can't see. Viewers, if you know of a service that functions for multiple people to view the same information and hear the same sounds, besides Discord and free conference call, let us know, because we haven't found one that works.
Are you sharing your screen?
No.
Okay.
I can, and we can see how well that goes downhill.
I really don't care as long as I know it's supposed to be happening and other people enjoy the happening of said thing. Know if we had abandoned that or not.
Let us know. Because
I didn't mean to throw anything off by asking to.
No, I
share
should have that, and it should be available and an option to everyone. You get, gentlemen, just talk amongst yourselves while I decide not to create my own streaming service with my billions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. We could make this the test and reboot in a second once we have that.
Well, if we reboot, then I lose my URL.
It's going to generate a new stream.
Then we have to do it all over again, and we lose this prime time of people coming on board.
I don't have a song prepared, and I don't want YouTube to demonetize future demonetization as a result of said things. So, what kind of creativity is allowed in today's age?
You can do it. There it is. Those 3 notes, and now we've been canceled.
What kind of cat is on your face?
I don't know.
In the rainbow picture. It's the first time I've been able to see the cool teeth.
I believe he's actually just puking a rainbow.
That is the goal. It's not a pride thing.
I mean, he could be proud about puking a rainbow.
Not if it's not up to me.
Dude can't hold his diffracted light. Come on, man.
I did not want to taste the rainbow.
I'm a lightweight.
Oh, no. Thank your lucky stars.
Son of a gun. We actually have a viewer on Twitch. Hello.
What do they win?
You get to answer the question, why the heck are you here?
We're not doing the whole "what is Bitcoin" thing.
No. Just like, why?
I mean, if you want to know.
Welcome to Crypto Cringe and Exit.
It's very topical over here.
What does it mean to be alive? Plants alive?
Uh,
They actually breathe oxygen. They don't have blood unless there are blood-sucking plants that I'm not aware of.
there are several, actually.
So, are those plants alive and not the ones that don't have blood?
You've chosen Borderlands 3 as the game you're playing.
Yes.
Why?
Because I'd like to talk
Because
to
he
Lilith.
was.
I think she's got some insight that I could utilize. Lilith knows all.
I mean, really, all that matters on Twitch, the only way people are going to find this show is by what game it's under. That's like the thing that matters the most.
So
Well, he had it loaded the last time, so I would imagine that there's going to be some playing of the Borderlands 3 at some point.
Jax, you're hip and young. What are the kids playing nowadays?
Among Us.
Are they really playing Among Us?
I mean, not much anymore.
Okay, well, what are the kids playing? What do the people want to see?
What we would really be under is just chatting.
Yeah. Did you already lose your Twitch person?
No, they're still there for some reason.
Still there?
Well, I'm on Twitch now, so.
Oh,
This
well,
is much
that's
more
you! You're the guy who's there!
It wasn't me the first time.
Oh, are you there now?
I am now.
Oh. Well, what the heck? So we lost the guy when I asked them what they want.
That's
and
right.
now you're here. All right. Well, I tried.
You're gonna have a lot to edit out.
I tried just chatting. On OBS, it gives you the option to say what you're doing, and you've got to put a game. You have to put a game.
Hmm.
It's our options. So Borderlands 3 is what I had. I don't think I thought it was more relevant than Halo 2, but I could be wrong. Welcome to Crypto Cringe. Again. I'm back from space, and I brought with me incompetence.
No, we agreed I was going to be Crypto Gordon Freeman.
What did I say you were?
Competent.
Competence.
Oh, I'd never.
Sponsored by adult diapers.
Well, we don't want to discredit the Jerry.
Hey, that's incontinence.
That is incontinence.
There ain't no Jerry here.
Jerry!
Mr. Atrix. So how are we doing? Are you still looking for something? Or
we're diving back into it.
Okay, so we're full headlong cringe at this point.
Oh, hard yes.
Okay, and we're not going to do a link. Is that correct?
I've dropped the link in Discord.
Oh, that cord?
Yeah.
And are we flying blind or doing any visuals?
No, we got some visuals. I'm back to being on the screen along with you two.
So you're in Stream Live. Should see something to
you want
watch live.
You want to see stuff.
I thought that's what we were doing. I didn't know.
All right, you got it now.
Don't know where I am. Okay, let's see. It says live next to you.
It does.
What does that do? Okay, cool. Yeah, noise. All right, so I'm going to let people know that we exist.
Okay. This is, genuinely, this slow buildup is what people do. They're like, hey, we're going to wait for people to kind of fall in. But if we're just, floundering at the beginning, it's actually something that's going on while people pour in. Of course.
Sure.
They need to be.
I mean, I've been told from doing months of it a while back, like people have like a certain expectation and tolerance. If it goes beyond that, they're like, "You're taking too long," and they're gone.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Uh,
we of course we want to
I
shorten
just posted to Twitter, and then eventually, when you get it to where you always have your crypto cringe Twitter open, then you can paste live there, and you go live each time as
Right.
well. Because these are people that will pick up and want to join in and stuff. Peter. Cool. So, tell us who you are again.
Well, I'm back from space. It's kind of quiet and cold. My people who rode with me were just I don't know, weren't great conversationalists. It's like they weren't multi-billionaires, so it's really just hard to talk with them and relate. But I am Jeff Bezos, the real Jeff Bezos, and with me is crypto satire man Gordon Freeman and the Jax.
Ajax.
No, he's not Ajax. We couldn't get Ajax. As it turns out, it's really hard to book a cleaning chemical, but we got Jax, the person.
So I hear that crypto is cringe.
It's accurate. Dipped below 30 grand yesterday. That was fun.
I also heard that crypto is the future.
But it's also cringe. I suppose I could say our tagline that I came up with in 12 seconds. And it would also help if
You don't admit that part. It was toiling for days.
Look, if Doge was made in 2 hours on a whim, then I can come up with our slogan in 12 seconds, potentially on the loo. Also, I could probably stand to remember what that was. Let me see if I can.
What are the 5 pillars of crypto? There's only 3.
Crypto is cringe. Crypto is the future. The future is cringe. I think that's right.
That is it.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
What do I win? Oh man, if we had budget, I could have confetti.
It's true.
Which, of course, I could have budget, but I want to be a commoner like you, so I, the multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos, do not have confetti.
Actually, I had posted one other really wonderful thing to share. Don't know where I placed it, though, but it was just a wonderful, inspiring quote from the co-developer of Doge, just showing his support for fellow Kryptonians everywhere. Wait, I am coining that phrase, Kryptonian. You will notice that it's catching on now. We had to move our society of crypto people away from Cryptopia since the horrid exchange ruined all the fun. Everybody. Okay, I am going to paste this to you. I found it rather quickly. Jackson Palmer. To be confused with the real Jax. This is the fake coin Jax.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this in our cringe topics, so you'll enjoy this. I have a feeling that every show will give us a little bit of Doge joy, some form or another.
It's
so. Do you want this to be like the lead-in cringe?
I mean,
show?
I think it's going to have to be.
All right, so I'm just going to read this lullaby of love for the crypto community from the developer of Doge.
All right.
This was just a week ago. Don't know if I have the start of it or not. We'll see. This is his explaining how he's not going to be sometime just waltzing back into crypto like everything's fine. These days, even the most modest critique of cryptocurrency will draw smears from the powerful figures in control of the industry and the ire of retail investors who they've sold the false promise of one day being a fellow billionaire. Good faith debate is near impossible. For these reasons, I simply no longer go out of my way to engage in public discussion regarding cryptocurrency. Creator of Doge, folks, the one that you've put $5 billion into, it doesn't align with my politics or belief system. And I don't okay, so politically speaking, he doesn't see there being any movement behind Doge coin at all. And it doesn't mesh with his belief system to do something in cryptocurrency, just so you understand. And I don't have the energy to try and discuss that with those unwilling to engage in a grounded conversation. Pardon me for wondering if perhaps the creator of Doge is unwilling to engage in a grounded conversation, because that's all I'm seeing here. I applaud those with the energy to continue asking the hard questions and applying the lens of rigorous skepticism. All technology should be subject to, especially Doge. New technology can make the world a better place, but not when decoupled from its inherent politics or societal consequences. Lose your savings account password? Your fault. Fall victim to a scam? Your fault. Millionaires manipulating markets? They're geniuses. This is the type of dangerous free-for-all capitalism cryptocurrency was unfortunately architected to facilitate since its inception. Okay, so does this give anybody insight into why Doge is the anti-investment vehicle?
Well, I think an important question is when was this posted? When were these opinions voiced? Oh, this week.
Last week.
Last
Yes,
week.
the 14th. 14th.
This is after Doge went, not, to the moon, but, darn near high. I mean, this is...
Yes, that is correct. It has made it from the stratosphere down to the borderlands. See what I did there?
It was beautiful. It was really putting that English major to work. So, beside it being a crap coin, beside it being on an anti-scarcity model, and besides it, being functionally worthless, the guy, the second hand in creating it is like, no, don't. I got that right? Do I have that right for, most popular coin?
Pretty much.
Awesome. I'm convinced. Let's cash out our investments and go full into Doge. I'm in it now.
Actually yesterday would have been okay.
Oh, please don't.
Take it from 17 cents to 19 cents. Get out. Yeah, for all the love, behind the silky facade of a smiling dog lies a dark-hearted soul or two. There's going to be a live stream between Vitalik Buterin, and the one guy that actually does do some development on Doge. He claims there's somebody else. I'm not really sure who that would be, but he dons himself a fancy-looking top hat from whatever that app is that makes things appear on your head. So that'll be interesting to see what their little conversation is like. So, Mr. Bezos, what do you have for us? What are we doing here?
Sheeb, my favorite coin, is at 0.0000666 cents right now.
I'm the beast.
So there's that. Space again. Tasted oddly of vanilla. It would appear that we've received money from someone. That's terrifying. How? I don't know why.
Where?
Whom?
Where?
That would be on the the Twitch. I know my words.
Have a subscriber?
We got money. That's what I know. What I have.
All right, it works.
I don't think. No, incorrect.
Everybody, quit your jobs.
It was
your
a follow.
jobs.
It was a follow.
Correct.
We got a follow, and I'm grossly uninformed from Jeff Bezos.
So I put that on a blockchain and make some money.
It should tell you in Streamlabs.
Technologic PC has followed us. Thanks.
Insider trading.
Why? Are you sure?
Insider trading.
Did you not see the last couple minutes?
I
You
was
just...
brutally aware of them.
Oh goodness.
Guys are nuts.
A good morning, Pyro Jason. Also, why? Go home. Come back when we're famous. I think that'll...
Do we have a Jason?
Yeah, we do. We got a Pyro Jason.
Oh.
He's in the chat.
Wait. I'm not seeing said chat.
There's a YouTube chat and a Twitch chat.
There are two chats. So, there'll probably be an advantage at some point of dual monitors, and as Jeff Bezos, I can absolutely afford to do that.
Can you afford it, though?
Oh, man, you know, we're really crunching our pennies. Space fuel is expensive.
Hey, I can see the chat there now. I found my way back to the live stream. I was checking all of my links that I've been adding to. That's cool. Good morning, Pyro Jason.
I suppose it could be. Here in the Space Coast, it's 1:36 p.m.
Wow, that quote that you gave on sheep is in USD. It's USDT. It's not even. I thought it was just in tiny sats, but it's in tiny.
No, that's in tiny penny
sats.
boys.
Yeah, wow, that's something.
You're
That's
welcome.
impressive.
Finance up.
So, Bezos, what of all this mess would you like to throw into the show?
Well, as Elon is pushing to get Doge onto the moon, I really like XMRG, and I'd like to get that on the moon.
Well, I hear that Carlos is looking to pump something. So maybe he can... XMRG! It doesn't have the same ring as BitConnect.
It does not have the same ring as BitConnect. That very astute, Gordon. But I believe we can.
I'm astute.
We can get there.
Lol.
Well, do we want to go straight into El Salvador, or do we want to talk about how Axe is pushing to make teenagers smell like, well, I guess whatever Elon Musk smells like. I mean, that's got to be what they're going for. So, being the richest African American in America who is hilariously white.
I don't, with that introduction, I don't see how you couldn't just up to the Doge.
I
think it's got to start there.
It must. Well, that's a Porsche. You guys don't need that.
It must. It must. It's musky. It's a musky smell. So now people know what we're talking about. Oh my gosh.
Here on Bitcoin.com, hashtag not a sponsor, we're looking at Axe, and I'm seeing this for the first time.
This is your first?
This is the first time I'm seeing it, which makes it...
That's how much prep goes into these things. It's been sitting there for days.
Like I said, I am so Well, I was in space, dude.
You got a point. This is what was happening on planet Earth when you were in space. So now you know. Now you know.
This is the...
This is hilarious.
Oh, and Secretary Yellen's here. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's ironic because I went and grabbed it from an entirely different place until I saw that it was right there.
Right, but our second story of the day is there. But that's
absolutely
that's gonna be behind the paywall. I jest, of course.
There's no paywall on this one. That's the other stuff. That's the other stuff. Yeah, so isn't it lovely that, I mean, Axe seems to still be hip with the hip crowd, right? People still use this product. They're not out of touch with reality like Bezos, right?
Correct. I actually I have a college paper that was published, and by published I mean given to their instructor with no real grade recognized, about how Axe is somewhat predatory in their product advertising. But that's a
can see
story
that.
for a different day.
It's interesting, but here's a great example. So, yes, it's amazing to me that MuchWow, 48-hour crypto scented with a dank musk. Is that what it says?
Oh gosh, is it Dank Musk? It very well may
It's
be.
a something musk. So, I mean, it's hilarious, but I mean, I wouldn't think that it would pass like an actual board saying, yes, we're approving of dog scented Axe. Now you too can smell like a dog. It's just fantastic.
A Dank Musk can confirm.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. I mean, that's off to them, I don't think that it went very well.
Well,
I kind of want some now.
Well, Gordon, I can tell you, had I not been in space, I would have bought up the majority of the supply and distributed it to our fans. But again, I was in space.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they said that the Doge army is so strong that their website is down. And his website tells visitors that the product is all gone in a humorous manner. Much disappointment. Sorry, people, all the Doge cans are gone, but we're still going to the moon.
Oh, man. It's money can't solve everything, guys.
Yeah. Like a year or so ago, I did a satire column claiming that there was a licensing lawsuit from the dog. The point he didn't appreciate his image being used without his consent. Thought that would be kind of funny.
It probably would be if it wasn't for the inception of NFTs, and I'm sure that will actually be a thing at some point.
For sure. For sure.
I believe there was a lawsuit regarding the Grumpy Cat at one point. So, this being a global scale, literally going to the moon, and also figuratively. Right. You know
what that's like.
I do. I'll tell you about it sometime. That'll be behind the paywall.
Something tells me everything that we're not prepared to talk about is going to end up behind that paywall. Paywall is code for, I didn't prepare for this.
The paywall is code for, I'll talk about the Skittle people later. Bitcoin's at 32 grand. That's cool.
That's grand.
Hey, remember when Binance was awesome?
Some time ago.
It's been a minute. We're prepared, I promise. So, do we want to go hard into the Janet Yellen thing? That, again, I was in space, I don't know. I'm going to keep using that.
That's how this is going to work. That's funny. Well, that's our main segment, so we've got a couple of cringes to break it up with, so why don't we actually do the El Salvador thing first?
Okay, let's talk El Salvador. What the heck's going on?
All right, so in our first show, which is, at this point is monumental, it's going to be legendary.
It lives in infamy.
Yeah.
That was pre-space,
my for me, your
boys.
for me, infamy. It's true. You were an entirely different person.
But,
we were doing a little bit of looking at the last year or so in crypto, and one of the things we were talking about is the Bitcoin conference and how there was a bit of a cringiness going on there. And it really, I personally thought that there was a lot of thought leader stuff going on. I think that a lot of people did a good job, but it kind of started with a little bit of over the topness, and that's kind of what carried on with the non-Bitcoin maximalist vibe. People were not happy from the outside looking in. But I think that also that was a little bit of the edge of realizing that Bitcoin was not going to shoot straight back up to 50. And everybody was feeling a little bit of a trigger finger from all the Elon Musk stuff going on. But the end of the Bitcoin conference, the big crescendo was Nayib Bukele, the poorly pronounced El Salvadorian president, making his announcement that he was going to be putting forth a bill to make Bitcoin legal tender in the Central American country of El Salvador. And Jack Muller of Strike was kind of local hero for all of this. You know, people cried, people got excited, and it was a big move, big leap forward for crypto everywhere. And I would say the most cringe moment was a hired hand from Elon. I'm going to call it that way because that's what I believe. Kind of dorky, exactly who you think of when you think of the prime Doge target. Leaped onto the stage, center stage, and tore off his clothes to reveal his Doge memorabilia and screaming that Doge was going to go to the moon and flapping arms hysterically and getting pulled off the stage. So those were fun moments. But all of this to say Nayib Bukele became like Mr. Cool on crypto Twitter. And he was like one of us, and he's writing. And, you know, I hated that, you know, something in our busy crypto superhero lives prevented me from being able to be there live in the chat that we all got to hang out in a crypto live chat with Nayib, just being one of us plebs. Mm-hmm. And so he was super cool. He makes the announcement that, you know, as if I'm not cool enough, we're going to, you know, stick it to the whole ESG, environmentally friendly Bitcoin or die thing. Mm-hmm. And we're powering ours with a volcano. Yeah, there's not really anything else cooler on Earth than being able to mine crypto with a volcano.
No, I can't think of a single vehicle for which to fuel cryptocurrency.
And you can imagine the low point when, you know, the past week has been, you know, the global unison cringe of, oh, the Delta variant is so bad, it's killing everybody. We all have to take the jab. Jab. It's like you cannot turn the channel on the TV or the radio on without some talking head telling you to take the jab and how fantastic it is. And, you know, your life will improve if you take the jab. Mm-hmm. And even if you die, your health will be so much better, and we can all just get forward with it. So anyway, in his native tongue, he tweeted, Mr. Too Cool for School, Nayib Bukele, tweeted that they were saying essentially the same thing. You won't be able to come or go without proving that you've been vaccinated. Citizens got to be vaccinated. Businesses got to be vaccinated.
What happened to the rebellion?
Vax card.
What happened?
I know.
We're sicking it to the system. This is like Ethan of H3H3 going from, you know, dank meme lord to, you know, YouTube is the best. The algorithm works.
Oh yeah, same kind of thing. I eagerly and quickly let him know. I mean, you know, what does he care? But I let him know that he just lost the Bitcoin crowd.
Your crypto
and that was
Gordon
not
Freeman?
Such a swell. Yeah. See. But people. I got a lot of likes and retweets out of that, and so the sentiment is strong that is a disappointment. Now it's very interesting that the woke left jab mentality of things. There are a lot more people that are properly skeptical of the vaccinations in crypto, and there's a lot of posting of those reports that don't make it through the mainstream. But it's kind of a pleasant balance of not the extreme, you know, like QAnon alt-right version of, you know, it's like you can take it entirely too far in the other direction and think that there's, you know, a CIA agent behind every single shrubbery. So there's been a really nice balance in crypto of people that are healthfully skeptical and tired of, you know, the fake narrative going on. So I like the fact that, you can take your Bitcoin and your mining and your citizenship and your legal tender and your sweet volcano mining. But if you want to force vaccinate the entire world, then that's not cool.
Agreed.
So that's Mr. Ukulele for you. So, kind of tries to sneak in with I'm watching the soccer. I mean, the football. You guys are watching the football. We're all the same, right?
Well,
nah.
see, I think
So
he gave
much
me a
now.
fine visual from, he was, just real dapper looking man with a blue sash to just a little bit of propaganda, just a little, just
What if he's just describing how the plane took off?
he could be describing how the plane, he could be talking about what the charts will look like for Bitcoin for growth.
I'm not Hitler. It's gonna move.
He could be talking
Is
about
all I'm saying.
gas. Ethereum gas, of course, not the other kind of gas.
Jumping Flash. Jack Flash.
No, well, now we're just off topic.
No. I don't know if anybody's using the link that I put out there. Let's see. I make sure that this works real quick.
It'd be a
The
shame if
word
it didn't.
Irma got spelled out. Hey, this looks like us.
What a disappointment.
Very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, that's that whole thing.
Gordon, what the heck is nullish call sign?
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it for you. You're going to have to find out yourself. So this is a little bit, I mean, it's the topic, but it's not the topic. But, cryptocurrency is something that programmers program. And so this is one of those wonderful, explainer videos. So if learning to code things is just too technical for you, then, it's nothing that is beyond a good dance.
Of course.
So, I don't hear audio, so I don't know if I'm talking over something, but you can start it from the top with audio, and let's just enjoy this thing.
Gosh.
Did you already do it with sound?
I've got it
Angular.
with sound
It's
right now.
ever progressing in version 12.
Ah,
We got knowledge coalescing. Now the name might have you stressing, but don't worry. We're here addressing what the heck is knowledge coalescing.
I'm getting
You
real.
can match.
Ternary operator, leave it behind. Knowledge coalescing is a streamlined. First you have your var and the value it's assigned. If the value on the left is null or undefined, your output is auto
Okay, I'm
reassigned
getting real
to the
Binance
value on the
US
right
vibes.
that's been pre-assigned the default value for
Absolutely.
your peace of mind.
Happy.
Now for review, another run through. If you've got no fair
That's all
value
they get.
to
It's
look
like-
to, knowledge coalescing is
The
your
s-
default
the
value.
lack of
It's
self-awareness
no
is
catch-22, it only helps you
painful.
just assign a default value.
Oh, it's coalescence.
Bro,
Did you see the head shaking at the very end?
That is someone who's gone through their life and no one told them no. No one told them you're not good enough to do this.
It's a little bit of controlled
And
chaos.
my heart breaks for them because how do you ever recover from that?
Something tells me that the young lass is coding the next billion-dollar app and is not gonna care. Okay, that's not really very likely. I hope Pyro Jason was there for that though, because he would appreciate that.
It's hard to tell where Pyro Jason is.
And that gal Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, she's a tough cookie to find.
They ever answer the question?
I believe in a video game once.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine
that is
with not knowing.
that's getting near the level of my crypto's big and it keeps getting bigger.
And that's why.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, bring that back around to coalescence.
look, I'm sure we
I
can.
don't think it's happening.
She did a fine job for whatever that was,
Yeah, it just shouldn't have been that.
It should have been literally anything else. And also, stop. Where are your parents?
mean,
To be fair, Schoolhouse Rock set the bar really high, so
It's true.
I'm just a Bill, just a lonely old Bill.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm sitting here. I don't even want to do the stream now. I just want to hear you do that again. That was great.
Now any minor aggression against you will be considered a hate crime. Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to buy him a new mic now. Oh, that's funny. Dude spends 30 seconds in space and he thinks he knows everything.
Look, if I don't, my darn near slave labor employees do. That's what we call a hive mind. I mean,
Excellent.
they live in the best conditions and work in the best conditions and can afford housing, I promise. We don't build our...
You literally bought them a scream box.
We don't literally build our factories in underdeveloped neighborhoods and then buy the property around and develop on it so the people who we pay us. We don't do that, Gordon. And how dare you accuse me of doing so?
oh, it's a prime tourist spot. I'm taking my girl out to dinner to the Amazon Scream Box.
Did you see that, Jax? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Being
I'm like, if I'm ever in a position, they all the zombies are gone and there's no welfare check for the tired superhero, and I have to go take a job there. I'm grabbing my sandwich and my drink, and I'm locking the door in there. And who's to say how long I need?
So my memories are a bit scrambled from space time. What did I do for my people?
Well, 2020 was a challenging year for many people.
It's probably the case as well for Amazon to copy the way of the Apple suicide nets. So I just thought the Amazon Scream Box it's a little bit less of a countermeasure than Apple went through. I posted the picture in Discord, but those are the Apple sweatshop suicide nets there.
I believe that they may have been calling it like a mindfulness chamber.
Yeah, that's what they refer to it as.
Oh,
Right, it's like a little soundproof booth where you can go to scream or just simply be alone if the stress of everything has been too much.
Yeah, that's why I need the sound deadening to be alone and silent.
Forget your safe space crayons and your beanie bag chairs.
Mm-hmm.
They need an isolation box.
Is this is Apple?
Yeah.
They had to put nets out. My goodness.
Oh, that's not good.
That is the Eastern way, man.
Steve Jobs, you silly turnip, you. If you could have only consumed a little bit of radiation instead of vegetables to cure your cancer, perhaps you could have avoided the Chinese suicide nets.
Steve Jobs was a visionary. How dare you?
It's okay. I'm alive. He's dead. I can say it. I'm Jeff
Is
Bezos.
it just me, or does it look like they got the nets on a discount from
From Amazon? You guessed correctly.
But it looks like these were returned from the fishing village of fill in the blank.
For an extra $250 per net, you could have it professionally installed.
Yeah, you must not be looking at the right spot. Here's one with the red arrow to look at the ones that actually look good. Much better.
Oh, that is far superior. Thank you.
Some quality stuff there.
I like the gaps that they left. That means if somebody
Well,
got
there's
really
no windows.
if somebody got
Oh, I see what
if
you mean.
somebody got ambitious and ran sideways, ran at an angle, if you will.
Crab walk.
How hard do you want it? Those nets
I can
available
answer
at
that.
amazon.com/nets. Discount code Jeff Bezos.
Please use my discount code. I have to build the wallet back up after spending so much going to space.
I think your goal is to get a cease and desist every episode.
Accurate.
To be big enough to be hated by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Which really kind of feels like a solid hard left into the next topic.
Are we going to talk about
Let's talk about BSV.
BSV?
Yes, I shared a link to an article with you. It says exchange providers halt BSV services as mining pool captures 78% of BSV network hash rate. I'm not
A new challenger has arrived. 2 new challengers have arrived.
Three new challengers have arrived.
Apparently.
I don't know what this means.
That I should go back to space. I understood what
Got
happened
my
there.
microphone. I've got my crowbar. I've got my news.
They're suicide nets.
Ooh-wee.
Sounds fun.
That's not the appropriate response.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to sing a song because I don't want to demonetize Jeff Bezos. He's having to build the wallet back up.
Oh, how meta.
Oh, goodness. All right, so you're telling me that there's a new
Jeff
article.
Bezos, are you in the Amazon lobby?
I am
Where the
currently
public
at the
can just
Amazon
walk
lobby.
in on you?
I'm right outside the screen box. This is with the highest management who don't want to commit forever sleep.
My goodness gracious.
They're mostly
So
well paid.
You did not see the link that I sent on the BSV thing, I take it.
I just want to see where I can not see.
How is that mystery person doing after may or may not having had to go to the dentist?
How's your mouth?
It's all right.
It's all right. She didn't die.
I didn't die.
Oh.
It's a gas. We've been
Again,
praying.
confetti that a budget will certainly facilitate.
Spaghetti budget.
Plans.
I believe so.
You just stand exactly where the flag is, you should be fine.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, replay Coalescence Gal.
Oh, we have to watch it again.
So for me to do
Well, I mean-
that, I have to redirect sound,
Redo
and it's a whole thing. But I
Do
can
your scenes not change your sound source?
through my
how it
headphones
works.
versus through my Jeff Bezos
Gotcha.
approved 65-inch monitor.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, say I didn't try Pyro Jason. Say I didn't.
We can do a thing to see how well my my audio,
No, but-
my mic setup is.
But if I'll just paste it to the normal group so that he can grab it right now because I would love to hear his reaction. So I'm going to do that while you start on the article.
You say that, but I'm doing.
I do. It's for the flow. It's for the people. The people.
It's already broken.
I'm breaking.
Let's see.
Pyro Jason, in the lulls, I'm sending you an early Christmas present because you will appreciate the humor.
All right, so I've got that next article up.
All right, cool. So I just absolutely love that this happened, and I'm not trying to be that kind of guy, but and the kind of guy that is their guy, Craig Wright. Um, just the fact that Satoshi has had 12 years to get even better about avoiding any kind of network attack, and yet it actually ended up being a 93% takeover of the hash rate of Bitcoin Satoshi's vision. And apparently, he needs to go to the eye doctor because his vision allowed a 51%
Yeah, that's
attack when it's just hilarious.
that's a pretty big blind spot. Maybe a bit of cataracts is set in. It's hard to tell.
93%. We were watching a pie chart. I mean, I know I'm a bit nerdy, but I don't sit around watching somebody refresh a pie chart. But it was just hilarious. It was going from 92% to 93%. And I was like, okay, did anybody ever factor in just not being popular actually being more important than the code for a top 20 supposedly cryptocurrency? Maybe you could get 51% attacked because there's so few other people that want to be mining it.
Gosh.
Or maybe Tal actually cared that much. I don't know.
How long did it take for this to occur?
I wasn't even aware of it until I started hearing people who had been really angry at me about saying things about Bitcoin and not meaning Bitcoin Satoshi's vision just a few weeks prior, kind of hopping in saying, hey, you guys, do you think it's going to stop? Do you think that everybody's going to drop the coin, or are they going to halt it, or whether there was a lot of nervousness because the only thing more extreme than Bitcoin maximalism is fake Bitcoin maximalism. So they're quite a crowd. I mean, I really wouldn't have that personal feeling about it if they didn't seem to come after me and a few other people for some really strange reason to defend BSV. But it made them nervous, and it was enough to get them not just standing plank and getting ready to beat everybody off of the ship if they said anything negative about their Lord and Savior Craig Wright.
So how did they remedy this?
They haven't, as far as I know.
Oh, good.
But that's a good question. That's a good question. And meanwhile, there was another fork on Bitcoin Cash, and now they're doing a rename to, I think, XEC or something like that. So they're actually going with eCash, which is hilarious to me because Richard Hart and a whole bunch of other people that I agree with were all saying that you shouldn't have called it Bitcoin Cash. You should have called it Bcash. Cash is a lot easier to say. It's a lot quicker.
Right.
It isn't poser like you're trying to pretend to be Bitcoin, but you're not. So they go with eCash, which that actually makes me think of like the things that failed that preceded the white paper. You had eGold, and you had B Money and Hashcash. All these, it just, to me, it just sounds like it fits in the slot of the late 90s now. Eventually, Roger Ver is just going to hop, skip, and jump so many different iterations of the same coin that he's going to land on Bitcoin revision 17, and that'll end up being the one that actually becomes Bitcoin Cash. It's really weird how somebody becomes so married to the idea of something being better than something else, and they're not even the person coding it. Just got a lot of money and a lot of time on their hands, and they didn't get their way with the original Bitcoin, and now there's the hash rate wars, in my opinion, have never really died down between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin not cash, not Bitcoin, not Satoshi's vision.
Not Satoshi's vision. Which
I always call it BS.
This is anymore.
With a really long pause, V is really the way that it should be properly said. BS V, because Craig Wright puts the BS in Satoshi's vision.
So much in so many things. So
yeah, this will be interesting to see what happens, but it seems to me like Satoshi's vision probably was not 93% attack.
No, probably not. It's probably much more secure.
Probably not.
If there was we'll talk about the Satoshi Trinity at some point.
That's right.
Not at this point, though. That's behind the paywall.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Yeah,
They're
so-
talking here, 51% attacks don't really exist without the exchange-based Bitcoin economy. Kurt Jr. tweeted, Huobi and OKEX stopped. I don't know if they say OKX or OKEX. I'm just going to say OKEX. Stopped withdrawals deposits, but they will be back. Honest nodes reject malicious blocks, and then further attempts are waste. Things will be back to normal soon, he added, commenting on the 51% attack discussion stemming from CoinGeek streaming channel video. Oh, we have competitors.
they won't last.
Theo Good. They won't last long. Bitcoiner Theo Goodman wasn't impressed by the host's explanation of the events. Someone tweeted, "Watch this. Kurt explains what is happening at the start." Goodman to the video content. He does explain it, but then he adds some opinion. Goodman wrote, "There's no such thing as a 51% attack," and from 914 he contradicts himself regarding trust. Then later he basically says not to worry unless you are in infrastructure. They will figure it out. So that's the way I think that things should be handled. It's not an attack, but an attack can only happen if it's not an honest part of the network, and the honest part of the network will work it out because that's how things happen because of trust. What?
BSV has tons of trust right now.
It is on the trust bus.
It's on the trust bus. Okay.
Not
And
true.
who's driving that bus there, bud?
Not Satoshi.
Hmm.
How can it be Craig wrong when it feels so Craig right?
Gross.
I didn't. Okay, yeah, it's my fault.
What's going on with the Chinese Communist digital yuan?
Yeah, so they've got more users now. They're kind of out of beta, and they've learned how to track down citizens with it, so that's working well.
Good.
Yeah, I posted the numbers. I think, was it, 20 million users now?
20.8 million individuals have opened up virtual wallets.
Mm-hmm.
They've made more than 70.7 transactions.
Million transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, million.
So the fish are in the water, and they're taking the bait.
Now, how are they allowed to do that? Like, why is China... Why is China...
Because the political
Well put.
climate is just hand it over to China year, and we have quite the regime. It's quite the regime change, and it's exactly what China wants. China is getting not good at all. It's actually going to shift into our other discussion about the stablecoin stuff really, really well, because crypto is always going to be hand in hand married to politics. There's no separating the two, even though there's the cool factor and everybody would like it to be the cool thing that it is. The truth of the matter is that politics has everything to do with crypto and vice versa. So is that ETH having fun?
Yeah, that's Ethereum just going to town.
Supposed to say S, but I mean, I don't say Ethereum, so
That's
I don't say Ethereum either. Oh boy. Oh wow, yeah, that was like a good $30 up.
slap 2035.
There goes Bitcoin. Nice. Okay. So yeah,
Is it going down then?
the
No, whoa. Not an
I'm
inverse
gonna let this
reaction? What's up
run
with
for a
that?
while. Actually have, well, I think our next trades are like in the Litecoin 130-ish range, and then 140-ish range, and more. This is good to see. There's money in this thing, I tell you. Digital yuan, what really has happened, not that they're unaware of things, but everybody knows that the Chinese bans are market manipulation, and at some point they're going to jump back in, and they'll keep doing the hokey pokey and turn themselves around, because that's what it's all about. But Last year, I think it was last year now. Last year was such a weird thing. It might have even been the year before that. I don't think so, though. But when Facebook made their announcement that they were launching Libra, and that it was an organization, with several different links to several other foundations and things, separate from Facebook, but basically it was Facebook's coin, and it was basically going to be denominational and be able to swap in and out of many different sovereign currencies. So it wasn't just going to be something like Facebook's version of USDT or something like that. It was going to be, basically allowing transactional volume and liquidity to happen on their platform through a slightly separated entity. And if you think about, what PayPal does behind the scenes, that's very complex in handling remittance, back and forth. They do things the way that the normal bank world does, but electronically and right in front of your face. And the idea of a multi-billion-dollar tech corporation that is publicly traded being able to start taking the role of a government, nobody was very happy about that. But
Right.
from China's perspective, the CCP looks at our large corporations as being the government, as representing the government. And even though, they've had plenty of time to understand capitalism, because as we all know through Marx's handbook, capitalism being the lowest form of economics and societal structure, you use capitalism to march your way to socialism, and then you use socialism as your march towards communism. Those are the stages that you use for stuff. So they look at Facebook Libra as a threat from the US government. They have not used that time to understand the structure of things very well. So they saw that basically as an economic sign of war. And there were two things going on in their minds. The first being the US elections, and that they really hoped they didn't get Orange bad again. Which really, you should think of Orange Man and Orange Pill kind of in the same category, because dude was pretty benign to crypto. He spent about 7 seconds thinking about it in 2019 and 2020, and at that point it was like, it doesn't sound like a good thing to me, but if people are going to trade it, then it needs to be regulated like normal stocks. That's pretty much the entire thought. UGHT, not the other guy. So the CCP did not like the Libra thing, and they said, okay, well, we had a 3-year window for the digital yuan, but we're going to bump it up to 3 months, because this is our one big play to become a world, power, to take over #1 spot in global authority. So that was their big play. Why that matters is that they've been doing that, and the rest of us have been doing what bankers meet government do. Unfortunately, the seedy underside of capitalism really is fascism. And what we have is much less free market and much more what they call a planned economy or a fixed economy. And it's, insiders take all type scenario. But it also means that, gosh, they move slow. They move quietly, they move under the radar, and they move really, really slow because there's so much greed going on. It's a problem. So at the end of last year, we had the plotting and planning of the equivalent of 1913, December 23rd, when they created the Federal Reserve. We have the electronic version of that going on. And it is coming full circle. We're seeing EU is making their announcements for what they're going to do with their digital currencies and trying to control the current market that trades against Bitcoin. And now our government is saying and doing exactly the same thing. So all along, the stage is being set that we're all okay with just allowing China to plow over us with their digital yuan. So they have gone from 8 million users to 20-something million users. And that really concerns me that out of the 20 million wallets, that there's already 70 million transactions. Now, that means only a couple per person. But, China is all about the propaganda. They want to put out big, bold statements, and they mean what is supposed to be received on the other end. They don't put out announcements saying, oh, the digital yuan is tracking well. Nobody should be worried. They put that out there to make sure that we hear them loud and clear. So it's very, very interesting. The timing of all this stuff happens. Well, there's a lot of political stuff we're not going to talk about, but let's just say that Facebook Libra to Facebook has now completely reorganized what was the Libra to their new project that is basically just a stable coin. And from my understanding of it, they could have already changed something, haven't been paying really close attention. But things that we should be concerned about CBDCs or central bank digital currencies. First of all, there has been kind of a slacker mentality in crypto for a long time that anything that's good for mass adoption is good for crypto.
Right.
Well, CBDCs are digital currency, but they are not cryptocurrency as we think of it. It is, the cowboy with the black hat and cowboy with the white hat. There's a good guy and a bad guy here. And you can love or hate all of your extreme feelings about the different crypto, but we want that entire market to be allowed to play out however it does. People lose all their money because they have stupid reasoning for what they're trading. Let them lose their money. If they make really good moves and hodl when they're supposed to, or hodl when they're supposed to, and make some smart, sell the top, wait for the dip type stuff, let freedom be free. But CBDC is absolutely going to be now positioning. You can very easily look at China and say, okay, we can't just allow them to, have the ball and run it all the way into, the end zone for a touchdown. We actually have to play the game. So every single country, and it's very interesting. You could put if you had a world map up on the wall, and you just kind of used little thumbtacks to say, okay, who has, published their paper on their national CBDC coin. It seems to start okay, that's a kind of a terroristish kind of country. Okay, that one's a cartel. Okay, that one's a tyrant. So it's not really the greatest order of events that the people that are getting there first are the most notoriously corrupt governments that
Are you suggesting that those who are in support of the Chinese cryptocurrency, their national currency, to be pushed on the entire world, are you suggesting perhaps that those who are in favor of it are not in favor of the traditional American values of freedom and infrastructure that allows you to do whatever you want?
If you tore down a statue last year, didn't even know who the person was, you might be a communist.
Interesting.
I'm trying to a Jeff Foxworthy kind of thing on the fly there.
That you explained the joke is even better.
There you go.
There's the cringe.
You don't get this old while still being in crypto without a little bit of the cringe.
Well, up on the screen right now, I have for the people to see the Communist Manifesto, but Tony Hawk can keep his stuff. This is for children. If you want to go buy it at Barnes and Noble right now, it is fully available.
Do you have any idea what kind of horrendous sweatshop the kids had to work in to make those knee pads?
My
it's
guess
good
is
stuff.
that they're Harbor Freight specials and not actually. Well, it is Karl Marx, so I mean he probably gets the good stuff. But Tony Hawk is cute, so I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's hilarious. I think he had a segment in the Bitcoin conference too, so there's a little bit of an irony there too.
Did he really?
Yeah, it wasn't very impressive.
Did he skate? Hold on, Karl Marx or Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk.
Okay.
Ukraine.
Because one of them's dead.
That's true. The other one's still trying to knock over government. Oh wait, no, Tony Hawk's still alive. That's right. Yeah, digital yuan, the things that if it weren't the what is that? Is that right?
The Kyogre virus.
Kyogre virus. If it wasn't for that, I think a lot of people would not believe that their government might be thinking to do the same kind of doing in China. But frankly, I think that China is the window to the soul of what these other countries are planning to do. And I've always said that, without the economics that are built into the better coins, one of the ways to define cryptocurrency is that it is surveillance money. And for some reason, the idea has always been so grandiose that cryptocurrency is decentralized, better money, peer-to-peer cash, all these different things, immutable ledgers, public, all this kind of stuff. But it means that if you can program it, you can track it. And transactionally speaking, CBDCs are not going to be designed with as little technology as they can possibly get in there. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to find out every single thing that they don't already collect data on through the social media outlets. So the digital yuan is designed with citizen ID trackers built in, of course. But in the first, this is before the 8 million stage. This was like just using military and then some of the government workers in the test pilot program, and this was before it was assumed that there was going to be ongoing travel lockdowns and this kind of thing. It wasn't even there. They weren't thinking of the
Kyogre virus.
Kyogre. We're just thinking, we're commies, right? Yeah, what do we want to do? So they were making it to where, with the Sesame credit system, if you were to say something bad about the government or tell, let a secret get out because, they're not stupid, they're just scared of their government, that they would use travel bans as part of the incentive to shut up. I thought it was very interesting that came in before all the lockdown stuff happened.
Right.
But those things are being programmed into the money. But some very clever, horrible, terrible things that make it almost like the use of money can be issued like lotteries. And so you could actually program into the blockchain the benefits and the opposite of benefits of saying and doing the right things and shopping in the wrong places at the wrong times and this kind of stuff. So if you think from our side of, our years of warnings of certain concerns about like the Internet of Things and smart technology, sure, it's great when you can have efficiency in systems and you can use data to drive better tech. But I always look, okay, what would politics? Okay, yeah, the government's going to use that to screw everybody over. So, cool technology always gets a, big thumb down when you think about what the slow, greedy, control-hungry governments are going to do with those technologies. So the digital yuan is that window to the soul, as far as that goes. But not only just being able to track what people do, but be able to control their decisions by saying that this can only be spent by X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So it's horrible. It's horrible. So another thing that I didn't think about that they did is, and they've already put the propaganda out, by the way. One of our news agencies made the mistake of actually publishing some of that data. And so they've walked it back and said, it's going to be very low tech and it's just, it's a faster, more efficient blockchain version of the yuan. But it's a lie. It's not true. They're basically programming in expiration dates.
Oh, good.
So think about being able to control the economy. This is something that goes back to what India had done when they pulled their currency and made you trade it in for the new issuance because they were wanting to, deal with the black markets and all that kind of stuff. What it really is the citizens were starting to actually earn money for once.
Right.
They were starting to develop a lower middle class that wasn't there because they were able to trade directly and keep it away from the government. And the government is so greedy and corrupt that they didn't want to allow people to, feed their kids and stuff. So they said you have until X date to turn your old money in, and we'll give you the new money. It's 1 for 1, so you're not losing anything. But the problem is, if you've been hiding a certain amount of money from us that wasn't reported, then we'll confiscate it or we'll tax you or jail you. So you can either be broke or you can come clean. It's your choice. So with the digital yuan, if they need to hit a certain GDP, they need to hit certain numbers to avoid quantitative easing stuff or
Real quick, didn't
inflation
America
stuff.
do that when we got off the gold standard?
Well, I mean, that we've confiscated gold. We've made it illegal to
Sorry,
own
no.
gold.
When we went on the gold standard, at some point,
When we,
at some
like when we
point,
went,
we said, "Give me if it was illegal for you to have gold, you had to turn it in."
yes. Of course, everybody did every bit of it.
Absolutely, especially those who
Not
came
at
up
all.
with that idea.
I think it's happened twice. I talk about, oh, I study history and I study economics. Um, uh, one of the things that happens is that crypto takes over every part of your brain
Right.
and it rots out things that were storing memory there for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things that I have to go and relearn all the time. So
Right.
I'm sure that going live is going to provide me ample opportunity to feel really stupid on multiple occasions. But yeah, I mean, with this one, the idea of it's kind of like if you when governments give rebates or they have certain easements or they want to reel you in with 0%, loans and different things. They expect you to spend it in certain ways so that the economy will appear to be moving in the right direction. But the truth is that people don't always do what they've been asked to do. The gold series. So with this, they can actually program the money to say, the good news is you've got this. The bad news is that if you don't use it by X, Y, or Z, then it's gone. So of course they're going to spend it, and they're going to spend it in whatever way they're told to spend it. So it's horrible. It's not just we think of the issues of privacy and tracking and online censorship and all these types of things, but imagine that it's not just that the government is aware of all of your purchases, and then there's some people that are still so slow to get it. They're like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then why should you care what they know? Okay, you don't know how data works. It's the first problem. Second of all, it's none of their business. We are supposed to be the ones in charge in some countries more than others. So anyway, that's what's happening with the digital yuan. It's getting big. It's going pretty quickly, and it's a perfect cost to what the European Union and the United States of America are currently doing. Ours is very complex because of the numerous agencies that it runs through. But to simplify, FATF, FinCEN, FINC, and the SEC and FSOC, I believe is the other one, have all been throwing some things out there quietly. And one of the only ones that caught on towards the end of last year that people were paying attention to was the desire to require KYC AML for private wallets. So, the whole idea that you can take crypto into your own hands and, not your keys, not your coins, keep it off of the exchange, blah, 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 blah. But then there's really nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. There won't be anywhere that's not KYC. But even then, it's actually illegal for them to introduce whatever form of things that was. I think that it was through FinCEN, but I really honestly do not remember. Brain wobbly. But yeah, December 23rd, all these things were coming through, and they were going to give 15 days for basically the consensus building. We want the public to be, feel free to weigh in, and so some very important people did give their feedback, and their feedback was, you're required to give us this number of days. I can't remember if it was 45 or 90 days, but we're not going to play.
Okay.
And you're not going to do this. And so they kind of eased off of it a bit. But the EU is now at the exact same place. And basically what they put out there is that they're wanting to ban the use of private wallets, but they know they won't be able to do that. So in place of that, they just want to tighten regulation, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And I didn't post that one intentionally because I didn't think we'd go that far into it. But all that to say, all of these things are happening while the EU is making, supposed to make their big announcement on the 19th, Monday the 19th, about wanting to put together a bill to ban proof of work technology. Because climate change is ruining
No, I was
but
pretty
the
darn
EU would
close
beg
to
to
it when I
differ.
was in space. I don't recall it wobbling, but reported
Well,
differently.
you
on
might have
Earth.
done it.
I could have.
Might be you and Richard Branson's fault.
We could have had a bit of a romp.
I mean, how did you let him beat you to the space, friend?
I was busy counting my billions.
I bet you were. So that takes us into the yelling, Janet. Yelling. Yoda's evil twin. We must act quickly on stablecoin regulation. Yes, we must, because they've been around for 7 years, but all of a sudden we need to do something. So this is an interesting one. She is all the evil glowing blue from her untrusting eyes.
Strong finish.
So I was
Strong
one of the
finish.
people that I was. I suffered through, weeks and weeks back. She had her address to Congress that was on a live Zoom call because, China needs to know everything.
Yes.
And assuring everybody that, there's no inflation, and if there is, it's no big deal, and we're not going to have to make any changes till 2023, but we'll let you know, and it's, everything's fine, except for all those people not paying their taxes, so we're going to spend your tax money to have a lot more people working for the IRS than they have in the past. And, make sure and, plug that dam before it gets any worse. And everything's fine. Then we get the, it's just transitional inflation. Everything will be fine. So, and then,
transitional inflation. How does that work?
Well, see, the world is always transitioning. So there's always more inflation. But it sounds better. It sounds like it's only as we go from this to this. Well, I mean, if the second node that you're tracking is the Great Reset with Klaus Van Hamburger, then transition just means, welcome this way to the concentration camps. Everything will be fine. Subtle. But yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Of course not. So in one of the local heads of the central banks, it may have been Boston, I don't remember, but he mentioned, they're starting to leak information out about their concerns about stablecoins, and he mentioned Tether USDT specifically. And I've listened to some really good thought leaders in the space. Caitlin Long is one of the really good ones, and she has, for several months, been staying on top of the stablecoin concerns, looking at the attestations that Tether's put out about how their reserves work and what the Tether is actually backed with and all these different things.
Yeah, Tether's already been through this kind of criticism
been
before.
Through it all.
They had to prove that their value was pegged to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they said that Tether is represented by an amount of gold. They had to prove that, and they successfully did so. Is that really?
Well, there was an assumption that it was dollar for dollar, and they changed the wording to say dollar for dollar or cash equivalent.
Okay.
And to make it like that's where the conspiracy was, since it wasn't in the other place. Tether has been the source for people's conspiracy theories on stable coins for a long time. And Mr. Bezos, you and I, when we first started getting sharp about this stuff, and I was studying it a lot myself, put the crowbar down and read a book.
So true.
Pirate Jason helped catch us up a little bit on what the whole controversy was there. And, you have it is not owned by the exchange. It's a sister company, but anybody that trades Bitcoin trades it to stable coins or pretty much nothing else. You buy other coins with Bitcoin and you sell them back to Bitcoin. But if you want to trade just the movement in Bitcoin alone, you're going to do it with a stable coin. And Tether is, I think, something like 7 times larger than the next one in line. There's always the biggest, the best thing. In the early days, they were trying to paint the movement of transactions back and forth to the circulation of Tether and trying to say that Tether was being used to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. And my thought is, okay, the dollar part of things is kind of how you're able to measure the flux of Bitcoin's price. If you have $100 million in Tether versus $10 million in Tether, at the end of the day, they are still worth $1. Bitcoin go up, Bitcoin go down. The only thing that's really changing there would be, first of all, is if you did not have enough tethers and it did actually slow the volume or liquidity of Bitcoin, I can understand that. Or if it was losing its being pegged, which we've watched it, and I think that maybe 0.03% is the most that it's slipped. It doesn't have a slippage problem at all. But they're trying to actually introduce one of their concerns about stablecoins is that they could actually lose being pegged to whatever they're pegged to. So going back to the very early days of Tether, it's always kind of been in the hot seat. And then, because there were so many hundreds of millions of dollars transacting, people started kind of going after Tether, saying, oh, they're manipulating the market by how they, how they put Tether into the, to the ecosystem of all the exchanges. And we need to see in accounting, can they prove that they actually had the dollar for Tether? And eventually they did. They're like, okay, back off. Here's the proof. We have the money. But people never stopped barking the same stuff. And I'm not in defense of Tether, but as a trader, I do rely upon it. And it's one of the reasons that I personally would prefer to be able to, go directly fiat to Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum. But until the U.S. Is looking out for anybody that's trading other than just the investment banks, and that's the way that this stuff works. And we'll actually have a show where we talk about how these things actually work, because most people don't know. They've watched the YouTube cartoon that somebody made that's libertarians have everything right about money, and the United States is a corporation, it's not even a country, and all that kind of stuff. Everybody thinks that they understand that fiat is not backed by anything, so they literally just money printer go burr, and there's nothing but that happening. It's not true. It's a very complex balance sheet of money that is issued out so that money can come and go where it's supposed to. And those inflows and outflows change throughout the day, and they're settled at the end of the day. If you could imagine like a layer 2 solution for Bitcoin, something like the Lightning Network, if there was one big transaction for each bank that settled one time each day, and that was their one big transaction on the Lightning Network going back to the main Bitcoin chain. That's kind of how banks are doing it now. But there's somebody in the center of all that issues it outward, saying, okay, you're allowed this 100 million, you're allowed that 100 million. And so Tether, in order to be liquid and in order to have their money backed by what it's supposed to be backed by, they have to go through different handlers. That they have to be connected to basically banks that are liquid, that can be trusted to hold the money in between, the accounts where they're going, and they have people that basically manage their money for them. I'm so short on sleep that I'm forgetting half of the words that are involved in this stuff. So if the fact checkers catch me on some technical details, I'm perfectly willing to admit that it's just my mouth moving at this point. But the point of that being that one of those companies lost something like $200 million. They either accounted it wrong or it's gone. Tether wasn't really aware that there was money missing. They had not hidden anything. They were not, playing games with the reserves, whatever. But they used the fact that people had whatever hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Tether in their accounts on exchanges as collateral for the hundreds of millions of dollars that were missing.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Do I hear fact checkers in the background?
No.
Okay, so that was an entirely different thing.
Yes.
Okay, because he knows stuff. those things. So the point being that did Tether, go, wish wash, moving hundreds of millions of dollars around doing dishonest things? I don't know the folks, but every time there's been enough noise, they've said, okay, here's the proof. We have the stuff. When that whole thing went down, it was a little nefarious, but it was whoever they were relying upon managing their huge amounts of money that either made a huge error or stole money from them. And either way, they didn't go very public with what exactly happened there. But it was the fact that they used the cash value of the hundreds of millions of dollars people had in their accounts of Tether to kind of float that whole situation until they had enough backing those assets again. So there's a point in time where, you probably could have had an electronic run on the banks and they would have just suspended withdrawals until that got straightened out. And then it would have gotten straightened out. I mean, that's what would have happened. So a little bit of history on the Tether stuff there. So the fact that now, there's been more pressure on them to basically to, provide their accounting. And so they showed exactly how their stuff was managed, and they have a 1-for-1. It's not structured the way that a lot of people in the field would have them do it, but it's certainly enough to prevent a liquidity problem, to prevent a run on the banks type thing. It's not exactly fractional reserves like, for some reason, our dollar standard is allowed to do. So it bothers me a great deal that they're wanting to create fear and instability in the market. And that is the reason that the market has been going down. The scare tactics on the news for the greater market with all of the Kyogre virus, that's, we see a lot of that with the stocks. The fact that Joe Biden always sounds like he overdosed on antihistamines and looks like he's staring directly into the sun, squinting, gives exactly the lack of confidence when he's reading off the teleprompter. So all of these things are tying together, but in crypto, right now I think I'm looking at like a 32,000 something dollar Bitcoin, and it was sinking into the low 31.5s before it dipped completely into the 29,000s. So that's an extremely fast recovery and extremely good one, and it's already dipped into some of the more easy to pump altcoins.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to balance out a little bit, but to me, these are all strong signs that when you have a lot of FUD, that people look at it as an opportunity to buy back in. So I think that's really good. Janet Yellen, the president's working group on financial market, as if the president even knows this is happening, met to discuss stablecoins. Its members are working together to draft recommendations on how to regulate the fast-growing subset of cryptocurrencies. Treasury Secretary, which I thought they called them the Treasury of the Secretary of the Treasury, but apparently Treasury Secretary.
That's just Mandela.
Maybe it's they changed it.
There you go.
Janet Yellen, met with the heads of multiple federal agencies on Monday to discuss. Oh, and don't get in an argument with people on social media about that's not the government; it's an independent agency.
Wait,
Okay.
What do they think is an independent agency?
People think there's a difference between the agencies and it being a government. Don't even get me started. There's so much ridiculousness in this world. Okay, so they got together on Monday to discuss how to regulate stablecoins, a type of digital currency whose value is pegged to another currency. Yellen, flanked by Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell and Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler, altogether a closed meeting of the President's Working Group on Financial Markets, the PWG. Other participants included the heads of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, and Treasury officials, among them acting comptroller of the currency, Michael. According to a short readout of the meeting, Secretary Yellen underscored the need to act quickly to ensure there is an appropriate U.S. regulatory framework in place for stablecoins. Okay, now if you would imagine that there's a little village of drunken sailors,
Okay.
and they all have their little fishing boats, and they've got their fishing lines out, and they can't quite see straight, but they all need to bring some fish home, and they throw their lines out, and they're all getting, the different nets are getting tangled up with each other. And so there's a few fish swimming in there, and they're all yanking back to try to pull their nets back in so they can get home to have another drink and to get the fish cooking. That's kind of how I think about this, because for us, it's an incredibly important industry, and we have every right to have confidence in the markets that we trade. We do our research, we work hard, we make very cautious, calculated decisions, and all of these agencies are supposed to be there to protect people's jobs, to protect markets, to provide security, to regulate out the bad guys that could do nefarious things. But what we really have is a bunch of senile, old, drunken sailors throwing their nets out, hoping that they'll hit something good.
Accurate.
And so I mean, who's going to pull the net in, and where's our fish gonna go? Is pretty much what it comes down to. So the top 3 U.S. dollar-pegged stable coins, Tether USDC and Binance USDT, have a collective market capitalization of over $100 billion per capita, says CoinGecko. Their rising prominence has left U.S. regulators concerned. Powell testified before Congress that stablecoins should be regulated, pointing to the fact that Tether is mostly backed by debts known as commercial paper. Most of the time, they're very liquid, but during financial crises, he said, the market just disappears, and that's when people will want their money. As such, Powell thinks stablecoins, which currently lack a clear regulatory framework, should be regulated in similar ways to bank deposits and money market funds. Okay. My friend Bezos, this is the part that you should pay attention to. How does he say they should be regulated? In a similar way that bank deposits and money market funds are handled. Okay. Why do they care so much? Here's what has actually happened. And it's really cool that there's somebody like Caitlin Long out there. We'll talk about her and maybe even talk with her at some point if we ever become cool enough. But the bankers watching the bankers and having the right skepticism about how the central bank authorities handle things. Avanti, I think, they're actually trying to become their own charter bank and doing crypto directly through the bank, and it's a very difficult thing. Anybody that thinks like what Ripple is supposed to do for handling transactions behind the scenes and remittance and all these different types of things has no idea how complicated they can make something so stupid. And blockchain really could help with that. But she's been watching this and is one of the few people that understands that stablecoins affect the market. Strange as that seems, most people still think that we need to come down hard on Tether, and the only thing that really matters is that the dog coins and Ether become bigger than Bitcoin, because that dominance has got to go. But what's happening here is over the course of 2020 to 2021, PayPal has grown from people's money representing about $33 billion held in PayPal accounts to about $35 billion. Stable coins over the past 6.5 months have grown from somewhere in that range to about $120 billion.
Wow, that's a lot of growth.
They are. It's not just a lot of money, it's a lot of growth, because that's not volume, that's money. That's
right.
Hard cash. And that's hard cash that printer didn't go burr. The federal government did not mint it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every time Tether issues us traders money, they are having to get it approved from the Federal Reserve so that it is issued to wherever their bank accounts are, etc. As long as they're registered properly, and they are, and they're doing the right financial services with their financial services, they should be fine. These guys are saying, yeah, but it's not allowed to be big enough to affect money markets. And that's what's happening. Money is moving out of markets that they need. Money is collateral for making more money. So now we get into, gosh darn it, cryptocurrency is an honest market creating actual natural fluid movement back and forth. There's instantaneous settlement of buying and selling. And that does not work with the US dollar. We want fake volume created by fractional spending and lending, and we want to make as much fake money as inflation will allow. And if you take money out of that circulation and put it into something that somebody could profit off of, we don't have to make more money for ourselves. And that's literally what's happening. So and this is what always concerned me, is that when you have things that are pegged to other things, you no longer actually have to move the thing that it's pegged to. So if you think about, you could have a gambling website where people can bet on sports and they could even bet on stocks. Well, what happens if you actually bet on whether Apple stock is going to go up or down? Apple would say we would much have preferred that you buy some of our shares.
Right.
So if you can gamble on the price and not have the liability of actually buying the stock, then you can do all sorts of crazy things with it. You could have your own leverage of stocks. You could have your own derivatives of stocks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what's going on here. They're saying, wait a second, we're creating efficiency in markets. We don't have efficiency in markets. We need that money stuck in as many of our hands as possible, because if we can't be in full control over issuance, then what are we going to do? So
right.
The way that this rolls out, first of all they have to is just like China now. All they have to do is say, we're going to ban Bitcoin transactions in China. And the market responds. And they could very easily next day say, well, we didn't mean it until 2025. And then the market says, well, oh, okay, I'm going to buy it all back then. We really are that foolish that we listen to every single thing and react very twitchy.
Corden, I gotta. I'll be back. I'll be right back. Keep going. I'll be right back.
Be left front. Gotcha.
Yes.
I always hit that point where I've talked too long and then I'm stuck talking. Required by law. The agencies require that I talk. That basically you must talk until you die. It's not really the case, but these things happen, whatever these things may be. Who knows? So here we are with Tether, and I'm going to read this next part. Gensler and his CFTC counterpart, acting chair Rostin Bernam, have had less to say about stablecoins for perhaps obvious reasons. Securities refer to investment contracts that carry with them an implicit or explicit promise of future profit. Stablecoins, by contrast, aren't designed to increase in value. Commodities, the purview of the CFTC, are tradable goods such as gold and oil. Stablecoins don't fit that rubric either. Yet their use in the wider cryptocurrency market as a way to buy other digital assets without touching fiat, or to park funds during crypto market volatility, have ramifications for the larger financial sector, which is precisely PWG touched on today per the readout. Participants discussed the rapid growth of stablecoins, potential uses of stablecoins as a means of payment, and potential risks to end users, the financial system, and national security. So suddenly Tether is a risk to national security. Suddenly Tether is a potential risk to end users. Suddenly Tether is a risk to the financial system. What it is that Tether is allowing the digitization of finance and investment and resolving transactions to happen efficiently. And if it happens efficiently, then it happens quickly. And if it happens quickly, then you can build velocity. So not only do you get more money in accounts, you get money that can move instantly and inexpensively and did not rely on the bank or the government. So the bottom line here is that the group aims to issue its recommendations for stablecoins in the coming months. in the coming months, could be through 2021, could mean going into 2022. The next step of this is putting out a report with recommendations. Then somebody actually has to make decisions about what that report is going to say and what they should do about it, voting or coming up with whatever those rules are going to be. The regulatory framework is going to be about protecting the flow of the cash that these coins are pegged to so that money markets are not affected. That's what it's going to come down to. This should have nothing to do with the SEC. There is no securities version of stablecoins. But there's also nobody protecting us from what these agencies do, or what they think, or what, even worse, what they think they understand. They don't understand the things that they represent. And these coins have been around for years, and they also have the harshest regulation of the New York regulatory approval. So they're being issued with permission. You can't get government approval on something that the government isn't aware that they approved. So none of this should be happening. It is market manipulation, and there's going to be a lot of it. And unfortunately, exchanges could look at this as saying, until we know what they're thinking about Tether, we're going to halt trading with Tether. Well, USDC, which, please correct me if I'm wrong, Circle or Gemini's coin. I think it's Circle. I'm going to look this up. And there's a pause there in case Bezos has returned. I don't know if Baldy's back. Baldy, are you back? Typing. Crypto superhero typing. Yeah, so it's Circle issues USDC. It's the second largest stable coin, and are they going to go after Tether and leave USDC alone? I doubt it. They're both under the same framework, and they both have the same issuance type stuff. Now, I mean, something that was particularly harsh on Tether could be a good thing for USDC. The question is whether exchanges would allow people to avoid the bottleneck that they may just want to actually create the scenario where what they're supposed to protect us from actually occurs in order to prove that there is a need for regulatory framework. The regulatory framework is going to make it to where things that don't have to register as a certain form of asset will have to register as that asset. And it's going to be very tricky if stable coins end up having to be registered as if they are the currency that they are pegged to. That's one thing that they could do that really is not sensical, because a dollar isn't a dollar. You have a dollar that is backed by a dollar. So then, are they going to try to somehow separate the way that this works from the money market funds? I don't know exactly what's going to happen there. But that's my view on this thing. That's my concerns on this. And what it does is it really limits the market's ability to move as efficient US dollars. We know exactly how they were issued and exactly what they represent, because they are it. If you're going to have to do any kind of KYC AML, it's kind of nice to not have it in something that they could do this kind of mess with and complain about. But at the same time, those choices are almost nothing in the US. And so there are a lot of people who are trading in Singapore and other countries, and the only thing that they're trading in is Tether USDT. So to me, there's a certain level of hypocrisy in saying, we've got to protect you from the potential dangers of liquidity problems or being a run on the bank. Or let me suggest a top list, top 10 list. 10 things that could go wrong with your Tether, because we're concerned that they might go wrong for you.
Yeah, the only dangers they're in the danger of not protecting is their ability to control your information.
Absolutely. So you put this together with the digital yuan stuff, and there's going to be CBDC for everybody. and they're not going to intentionally dumb down the programming so that it only acts like a minimally digitized dollar. It's going to be a highly sophisticated surveillance dollar.
Hmm.
And that's going to be great for them in the money markets and everything else because they'll be able to track exactly where the printer go burr.
Yeah,
Not just
and
all this.
that's what they've been designing it as the entire time, and
Right.
the world has already decided where they're going to stand in the privacy versus security debate, and we'll just keep moving more and more in that direction.
Right. So it's a really big, everything lands in crypto. It's why several years back we became more and more curious because we were doing pretty deep dive studies into, a lot of the consolidation of governments into a global governance. And the financial side of that was one of the ones that concerned me the most. So I found crypto as an interesting move to say, before this gets more nefarious and it is, governments consolidating and trying to control all of the money, there's this free market thing happening with these wacky cryptocurrencies.
We exist in
Um,
a very valuable snippet of time here
yeah,
where a transfer of wealth has the potential to occur to people who are smart enough to seize it. If they're paying enough attention to the world around them, there's real opportunity here for people to really be uh, to really change where they are in life faster than has really ever been possible.
agreed.
And we saw that with
Agreed.
AMC. We saw that with GameStop. We saw that with Doge and Sheep. Unfortunately.
So, so Bezos, you're the financial advisor in the group, and people can take everything you say as financial advice. So, is that what you would say everybody should do? Is go long into AMC, GameStop, and Dogecoin?
What I would say is sign up for a Prime membership. It's free for 30 days. You get 2 day shipping. You get full access to our Amazon Prime library and Amazon Prime Music, which is leagues better than Spotify or Pandora. And then after that, just $7.99 a month, or you can get on a family plan for $10.99 a month, or you can pay for the entire year for between $70 and $120, depending on how many people you want on your family plan. But sign up for Prime. That is your best.
You know this way
investment
too
in
well.
cryptocurrency.
I now believe who you say you are.
And when you sign up on Prime, you can also each month you get a free Twitch membership. I highly recommend giving that Twitch membership to Crypto Cringe Show.
Yeah, Crypto Cringe Show is on Twitch.
It is.
It's an opportunity here.
Or Donut Operator, whatever.
I love the idea of, Bezos returns to Earth and has to quickly gather
That's
himself.
a real sentence. That's a real sentence. No, Bezos returns to Earth.
But then he has to gather himself together to live stream so that he can tell people about Amazon Prime.
Oh man.
It's like the man is really centered. He's down here with the plebs. It's really
And
impressive.
it's like, I know that you guys want to receive your self-lubricating pocket catheters with same-day shipping, if available in your area. And if you're in the metro Atlanta area, there's a good chance if you put it in your cart once before, you can get it on the same day.
Pivot.
Pivot!
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered the stablecoin thing. I think that we're concerned and we don't like their shenanigans. And we're calling shenanigans. I think that there's going to be a lot of market manipulation, and my concern is that they shift a little bit too hard in one direction, and the exchanges feel the responsibility to halt trading with Tether or worse, or, not worse, but similar. And it's kind of, we, in order to protect you, we need to crash you headlong into the problem that we're trying to avoid, so that we can be even more in control of the things that you didn't need our help with. So let's hope that they're not as careless as this administration seems to be.
That's a lot of hope you gotta have there, bud.
It is. It absolutely is.
Well, they could afford to be careless before, but now they waited a year too long. The banks are involved, and they can't kill it as easily as they would have liked to in the past.
Hmm. The crypto world needs to be sharp enough, and maybe this is, if we build any kind of influence at all, one of the things that maybe we can help be thought leaders about with this stuff. Spell it correctly so it's not the other thing.
Thank you.
Um,
Good looking out.
Not a pimp, the other thing.
Well,
Being
let's
thought
not-
leaders in crypto.
Let's not roll it out.
I think Uber is doing fine, Mr. Bezos. What was I even? Yeah, Tether is not the enemy here, and unless we do some deep digging and find out that they're just the most god awful people behind any company that's ever been made. I think that they have shown that they're pretty much doing what they're there to do, and people tend to be hypocrites a lot of times about things. And the truth of the matter is that 120 something $billion worth of people's accounts are sitting in Tether. But everybody that talks on the social media says bad things about Tether. So some of those people are the same people, is all I'm saying. And it's your money at risk if you make it sound like you also don't fully trust Tether either. Maybe the government should do some poking and prodding. And I think it's a very dangerous area. Now, one of the things that I do differ with some of the people that are very sharp and on top of this, because they're not traders, they're hodlers, and they are banks and charters and other things they're trying to do in the industry, which is fantastic. But we're trying to build an entire system around what the crypto industry can create here. That means banks and investors and traders and individuals, people that are going to continue working their jobs but trying to stack sats as much as they possibly can and all this stuff. Traders are a part of the volume and the liquidity, and those things do actually matter. They are not the enemy of everything else that happens in crypto. The problem is that there are very few people that are actually good at trading, and almost everybody that arrived here to tell everybody else how to do it is getting everybody wrecked all the time. So really the only lessons that anybody responsible has is to say, don't sign up with trade groups and learn how to trade, because it's god awful and you're going to lose your money. So the better thing is to actually educate people about that part of trading just as much as they should be educated about how to set up their own private wallet, about how to, safely move money to an exchange to buy some crypto and then draw it into their own wallet and self-custody and all these kind of things. So that's one of the things that, our goal and our mission is to make people aware of how time and liquidity work, to understand how the flow of coins in and out of exchanges works and how all these things work. So, yeah, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of educating to do and a lot of sleep to get as well. So one of the things, Gordon has for a while, I enjoy writing almost as much as I like talking sometimes. And working on building out our own platform for all this stuff. I've been writing articles, and there'll be kind of a co-managed, Gordon's podcast where we do some of the tutorials and training and educational type stuff, and the Crypto Cringe show, which basically everything is meant to cover these topics. We're hoping that can kind of help build up the crypto community and kind of bring all of these different kind of tribal maxi groups together to understand that we are all, forget the whole Kyogre virus thing. We're not all in that together. But there's way too much scamdemic stuff going on. Okay, wake up. But as far as crypto goes, we're all in this together. And we should be all in this together. And we, not the government, should be the ones that protect people from scammy coins. We should be the ones to tell people, in fact, don't buy the rumor or buy the news. Just don't buy those things. sit back, sit on your hands, whatever you have to do, not to buy the pump, because what goes up comes down, and it usually comes down 10 times worse and faster. Those kind of things. There's a lot of education to be done here. So anyway, the most recent thing that I wrote was just, starting at the start for Gordon's podcast is just what is Bitcoin? And I think that part of what would be really cool, Bezos, is every day that we're not doing quite as long a stream as this one, but every time we're doing these live streams, we should talk a little about what Bitcoin is, pass it around, and always have something new and interesting to share with the children out there about what, whether it's the technology or what it's doing to the future of economy, what Bitcoin is. So that is my thing.
So Bitcoin, as I understand it, is controversial. And I, as Jeff Bezos, am not one to delve into controversy.
I see your beady little eyes. There's controversy in there. In fact, you have a nose for Bill Cosby.
I do.
It's Cosby Bezos' nose.
He's a free man.
Bezos' nose.
He's a free man.
What do you even do? See Pepe looking at you judgmentally down there.
We'll talk about Pepe
with
at some
yarmulke.
point. We'll do. I'll talk about XMRG.
We caused the last pump.
I was the pump of XMRG post
Dead XMRG.
Pepe.
Yep.
That'll be a saga.
That was hilarious.
its own day.
Should we actually be admitting that? I don't really. Yeah, well, yeah. Bezos did it.
Did it? Hey, somewhere in a MetaMask is XMRG. That belongs to me, the real
Pure
Jeff
gold.
Bezos.
Pure gold. Don't reinstall over that browser until you know how to log into your MetaMask.
Oh gosh, it's on one of the computers that's floating around. I hope it didn't get shipped out to a customer. I hope I didn't leave it at a Geek Squad or a pawn shop, hoping for it to be repaired, and then a lawyer come around and say, "Hey, do you have my laptop?" And it's like, "Oh yeah," but I didn't look at anything because I don't want to be implemented in smoking cocaine and sleeping with my 14-year-old niece.
Could be completely unreturnable $17 that you will never see again.
Or,
retrievable.
28 million XMRG.
Yeah, I heard that little bit of the Hunter Biden thing going on.
No.
Yeah.
Although if anybody has some Parmesan, I'd be really, I'd be down.
Pizza? Crazy stuff. Did I leave you any other cringe-like breadcrumbs, or did we expend all of them?
I believe we've expended all crumbs of bread.
Understood. Well, this might be that sad time where we start to say goodbye to all the children.
It very well could be. In my travels to space, I've interacted with several humans, and a lot of them, their first experience with cryptocurrency isn't Bitcoin.
Huh.
It's Doge. It's Sheeb. And speaking to several of them, they're talking about Doge and Sheeb as their long-term investments, which is not what you're supposed to do. So, if anything, I would like to see us be just some truth, a light in this world as to what should and should not occur with cryptocurrency. What do we do? It's like I'm new to crypto. What should I buy? It's very basic Bitcoin questions, but that the answer is Bitcoin. Buy that. Heck alts.
It is.
Um,
And historically, people would say that. They'd say that if you're starting in cryptocurrency, you're never going to fully understand. I mean, none of us fully understand, but you're never really going to understand crypto unless you buy a little. And everybody should start by buying some Bitcoin.
right.
It's a rite of passage. It's the proper thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing the B word conference with Kathy Wood and Elon Musk and third person I can't remember, but it's like they're like lighting it up now. People seem to be very excited about ARK Investments, Kathy Wood, and
right.
she's on fire.
Elon Musk, is he a Chinese psyop?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of information for everyone. Zuckerberg is a reptilian robot. I mean, I can confirm this. I've seen him without his skin.
The only explanation.
Right. Occam's razor, the simplest solution is often the solution.
Really.
So you don't have to go that far with it. And I don't know, maybe one day you'll have him on the show and he can give his 2 cents, but
Occam Sock'em robots.
I don't know if he stopped launching Libra because China said no, and because they had to do a firmware update on him to have him shut it down. That's why he did it, or what the reasoning is. But is Facebook launching their own? Have they launched their own cryptocurrency again?
They renamed it, and if it stands the way I remember it, they took it out of the category of being like a multi-denominational stable coin, meaning that basically you could use it in your own country's currency and they would handle the transfers. They've got a new name for it, I don't remember, and I think that it's just going to be a singular stable coin.
Okay.
I think that probably Tether could be the fall guy for all this actually being about Facebook. 'Cause, I mean, just honestly, our government is not designed to allow tens of billions of dollars to leave the system and be efficient. That's basically what it comes down to. So I think that they plan to launch soon. And this time around, they're not planning on asking for permission.
Okay.
So I think that the lawmakers want to get the regulatory framework in place before that happens, so that Facebook basically has to comply before they can do anything. And if that's the case, then it could slow them down. If they get to market before the regulatory stuff is in place, then technically Libra could be getting used. I mean, I can't remember what it's called now, but it could be getting used in the marketplace already, while crypto is stalling out if they cause a halt in trading with the Tether stuff. That's the as close to Black Swan version of things as I think
Right.
it would be. But Facebook is just bad news. Jack Dorsey with Twitter is making some moves too, and people forget that he's all for censorship and being very political about things. He's Mr. whacked out hippie computer code guy, and he's all for all the ESG stuff that people hate seeing in crypto. But I think the way to frame what he's talking about doing is basically to create something similar to what Ethereum has done with smart contracts, to where you can build stuff on top of a coin very easily, or on top of technology you can launch your own coin. With this, he's wanting to basically make it easy to create apps on top of blockchain. So I don't know what that looks like, but it's going to end up looking good for some very specific cryptocurrencies, I would imagine. He's not going to intentionally back losers. He's going to back ones that he knows are going to get clearance. So that should be really, really interesting. But who else is there? I mean, there's Google, which has been kind of quiet on this stuff, but they lifted the whole advertising thing supposedly again.
Right.
And it was interesting because some of this harkens back to the what was it called? The internet, the fairness thing. The
Net neutrality?
yes, net neutrality stuff. I mean, you remember how Facebook was very passionate about how they felt about net neutrality, and so was Google.
Right.
And spending tens of millions of dollars lobbying Congress to get their way on that kind of stuff. And now here we are, and the next concerns were about whether social media platforms could continue to be a platform, or whether they would have to be shifted into the category of being publishers. It means that they're responsible for everything true or not true that we're posting. All these things, every single thing that is becoming digitized is becoming monotonized or monetized. Monotonyized. No, it's becoming a digital money version of anything that you value. You know what I mean? So, I think we're kind of heading into some territory where these guys may be billionaires, but they may not be as smart as their money says they are.
What is that
May not
supposed to
be-
mean?
Well, they may not fully understand the ramifications of getting their way when there's money that can transact the way that crypto can.
But I want it.
Want the control or the crypto?
Either. Yes.
Okay. You're Bezos.
Exactly. How dare you say I might not understand it?
Careful, you might glitch and we might be able to see your reptilian skin.
No, I'm not the reptoid. That's
So you say. That's exactly what a reptoid would say.
that's Zuck, man. You gotta look out for the Zuck.
Now, you even tried to out one of your own to put yourself in the clear, but
He's playing 1D chess, folks.
So true.
Oh, it wasn't me. It was him. Jack Dorsey said that he wants Bitcoin to create world peace. Could we just have it pump first,
How?
then world peace?
that's a clip.
There you go. Edit. Done. All of this time, and that's all I had to do. But we really could make like a smoking 15-minute version of this.
I
So,
believe
Bezos,
you.
do your thing. Oh, I don't want to click like on Dorsey talking about Bitcoin world peace, but people are latching onto it like it's the greatest thing that's ever been said. So easy. This crowd is way too easy.
I mean, I don't mean to talk about the other billionaires who are going to space, but I mean, let's just have one of us do it. Me. The person who didn't launch a car into space and miss an entire planet. So, I'll handle the space stuff, and with the money that you guys are saving not going to space, you could go feed everyone.
World hunger. Look, it's dark outside.
World hunger, clean water,
Choose number 2.
literacy, or, we're the richest men on Earth. We're getting out of here. What does that say?
Escape.
Yeah.
Escape hatch time.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, if you... Sometimes the best thing to do is to just actually listen to what Elon says, because there's all this, SpaceX and saving humanity and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, if you listen to what he actually has to say, it's the kind of people that are going to go to Mars first, they're probably all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a special kind of person. Want to be the first to die that way. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to take a few rounds before there's not the dying.
Right.
But, maybe that's not the mentality you want to be listening to with cartoon doggies. Just saying. But you don't make your investment decisions on somebody that wants to crash people into another planet.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's true. Elon Musk says that you have to own your private keys. Thank you, Elon. If I left them on my spaceship,
I left them.
a boating accident, or in this case, on the moon. Left my keys on the moon. I cannot pay my taxes.
Yeah, this is just all to convince everyone that Earth is, round. But we all know it's flat.
Oh,
We all know
when
it's
are they
flat.
going to wake up? We could. Oh, we're going to create a new one, guys. It's the Fat Earth movement.
So that's one way to
Earth
get
is-
canceled. I'm interested.
The Earth is fat.
The Earth is fat.
The flat Earth has been ingesting too much methane,
Okay.
and it is now fat and is going to destroy the Earth. Wait, it is the Earth.
Okay. So how?
Earth is fat.
Hold on. Now the solution to that is the same as, the United Nations, and that is killing off many, many people.
The fat girth movement.
I'm not comfortable with this anymore. I'm ejecting.
Della said so.
For that reason, I'm Barbara.
And for that, Barbara, I'm in. Bezos, you should sign us out. What is your
gosh.
last thought?
Remember that Amazon Prime is available for $7.99 a month. And
We don't have a
with your
sponsor.
first
We don't
free
even have
month,
any viewers.
You also get one free monthly Twitch subscription. So I recommend Crypto Cringe Show. And if that's not your fancy, then Crypto Cringe Show. And then for one that you pay for, you can go over to Do Not Operator. But be sure to check back in with Crypto Cringe Show, because those guys
They're pretty much required to watch us at this point. They've
Right.
gotten 2 plugs. Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Guys, every day everything just keeps getting worse, and I blame you. Not you two, just you, the viewer. It's your fault. So
The takeaway.
go buy Doge. It's not going to get to $1 unless people are buying it. So if you want it at $1, you got to buy it, and you got to trade it. It's got to move around. If it doesn't
It's a
move, it's
million
not
more.
going to $1. You silly turnips. Seriously, how do these people think? How do they think this gets value? Why do you think it fluctuates?
I saw somebody trying to organize a pump yesterday, and I explained to them that they just made 1 million more of them, that it wouldn't work. They were a little bit distraught.
Gosh, 6 billion drop every year.
Or is not good.
And granted, as an offering, it is currently better than the US dollar. Doge is less poised to inflation than the US dollar. Now, Treasury, I need you to wrap your noggin around that little nugget, okay? That's a problem. When a meme...
No, we need to look at the not dollar to make sure it's more dollarish than the dollar is. That's much more important than billions of dollars lost on Doge.
When a meme is a better investment than what was at one point the world's most powerful nation's currency,
I'll trade you your 3 countries for my JPEG of Beeple.
yeah, no, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't. I've been concerned for a long time, and this is. Don't choose the end of the show to go on a tangent like this, but you started it. But I've long been concerned that the concept of money is not something that can become increasingly more abstract. There needs to be an understanding that there is something difficult about it to obtain, and transacting it should be just difficult enough for you to remember what it is. Lost those 2 elements, especially since last year. A lot of the Quay Garglar or whatever virus it is, it has distanced people's relationships with the tangible. And I think NFTs, it's fine if you're wanting to support the arts and all that kind of stuff, but reel it in a little bit. If you really like the 3D rendering that somebody made, maybe $34,000 worth of Ethereum is not a necessary going price. And there's a pretty good chance that that same thing is not going to have the proper resale value you think it does. So, much like the Doge, there's cool, fun things to do with magical internet money. But at the end of the day, if it actually cost you anything in your work product or your intellectual property or anything else, you're going to need it for food and other resources.
So at the end of the show, we're always happy to take some questions from the chat. So as Pyro Jason seems to be the most active in it, Pyro, do you have any questions for the Crypto Cringe boys? And well, that makes it through the buffer. I'm trying to come up with some actual thought on Bitcoin as a whole, and I guess I'll state what I've stated since we've gotten a real solid understanding of cryptocurrency. There's a push, and we've seen it with the Kyogre virus, for just a global unified function, and that is both in governance and in just movement. So governance, currency, thought processes, just compliance. So I'm not convinced that Bitcoin is the final currency. I'm not convinced that it's the final solution for the world's money problems, but I see it as the stepping stone.
Jeff Bezos speaks to the final solution.
I know.
It's getting a little bit of a Nazi vibe. I'm not to detract from what you're saying.
His art was amazing.
No, it wasn't.
It was a Bob
He's
Ross
one of the most
doodle.
promising students we've had. Bob Ross is not a Nazi. You guys are starting all sorts of stuff.
I said it was a Bob Ross doodle.
Yeah, Bitcoin
So
isn't the final.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Bitcoin's not the final cryptocurrency. I don't think. I don't think it's the global currency. I think it's a stepping stone. And with how fun and lighthearted Dogecoin is, even though people are using it as Dogecoin is their stepping stone to Bitcoin. I hope.
If they have anything left.
If they have anything left.
I actually like Doge. I like that it provides the fun and sometimes the comfort and camaraderie that people. I remember playing the silly Doge game where you acquire more Doge and it's just running all the time, and just it's kind of like there should be the Doge restaurant, and then there's the little Doge souvenir shop before you can get out the door, and you want to buy all the Doge and the cute little dogs winking at you and smiling, and ooh, that one looks like he knows something. He's up to something. But it is designed as a revolt against cryptocurrency. And so therefore that alone, people need to be educated about the fact that it was designed not to perform well. But it also sits for long enough durations of time that it becomes easy to pump if you're a large enough group to pump it. So I am absolutely a crypto is to each their own. I'm not like a hardline libertarian at all, but I do find a lot of the points that they make are important points. The difference is that we're beyond the point where the world economies would actually be okay if Bitcoin does fail.
Correct.
And so that's one of the things that, one of the big distinguishing factors between BSC and Bitcoin, I have to leave the pause there. The real Bitcoin has already crossed the threshold to be accepted by the banks, institutions. It is now legal tender in a country, and it is broadening the spectrum that it affects economies. You have people who have been literal MIT geniuses. I mean, I, Gordon Freeman, with my background in theoretical physics and my degree from MIT, I chose this persona very carefully. Have a kinship with Michael Saylor, who is a lot smarter than I am, way a lot smarter than I am. So I try to listen to smart people that I tend to agree with. There are very few points that I don't agree with him. And they are people who looked at 2020 as the ringing of the bell to say, go all in. The only way to get out of the sinking ship is Bitcoin. He's not a fool. He's had a public company for more than 2 decades. And just through software analytics, looking at numbers that other people are not smart enough to look at, making 10 million off of it, turning it into 20, making 20, turning it into 40. He has doubled almost every cycle. And those hundreds of millions of dollars are now going out of dollars into Bitcoin.
Right.
He's now teaching that as a corporate strategy, and there are conferences, despite the Kyogre virus and the lockdowns and everything else, businesses are learning that if they don't hedge out of fiat into Bitcoin, that there's no amount of transacting they can do to prevent loss. And that's severe. That should actually be scary to the rest of us, that, we're not looking at how do I protect my few hundred millions of dollars yet. We're looking at how do I lose less of this, and quicker, please. So I think that there is going to be something and some things next. There are going to be other uses that cryptocurrency needs to provide a better, stable system. But much like the way that the world has handled the jab and everything else, we're going to have to actually at some point be organized enough to agree on things that are good for us as communities. Because communism and socialism and this crony fascism version of capitalism are not going to get us there. They're going to wind us into more of the digital yuan version, where we say, yes, government, please, can you please tell me what I'm allowed to do next? That's not good, but we're within inches of that being the case. So I think that Bitcoin has been repositioned from being peer-to-peer cash, like it was designed, into being the world's most important store of value, outpacing silver and gold. And Obama says, yes, we can.
Well, actually, on that note, one of the questions in the chat is, what is Obama's last name? And it's not really well known for some reason, but it's actually Biden 08. And I have I've got the evidence for that right here. Why would they put it on a T-shirt if it wasn't true?
Absolutely.
So there's the answer for what is Obama's last name. It's Biden 08.
Was that a super chat? I'm not sure if you should answer it if it's not a super chat. We have way too much traffic to deviate into politics.
Oh, this isn't politics. This is just what is you mentioned Obama, who, by the way, he's got a really cool yellow hot rod. You should check it out. Sometimes he drifts around the city. If you're lucky, you can throw some grapes into his window. He really appreciates it. But yeah,
it doesn't take much.
Let's see. Do we have any? Do we have any other chats? Any other questions?
This is cool. I love them being present for this stuff.
I think that answers it. Jax, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin today?
Bitcoin today may change tomorrow.
So true.
You want to write that down?
Yeah, that's we weren't ready for those
Hey.
hard truths.
I mean, I don't watch it nearly enough to really be able to give any input. So, yeah, my opinion are not my own.
Um,
So not true. But I do want to add to Jax's prediction. I think that it's going to go down and it's going to go up.
so brave, so controversial. You
Do you
know,
mean in that order?
For the next 30 seconds, yes.
at here. Here at Crypto
But I
Cringe
just got it
Show,
right.
We've
Wow, that fast.
I'm gonna let everybody in. I know it's early on, but I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you have a peek behind the paywall and let you know our trading strategy. We like to buy low and sell slightly less low.
I'm now officially out of business, Mr. Bezos.
I'll never be able to monetize now.
That's it.
But
This is the sound of
go
the
from
air
here?
being let out of all four tires of my Bugatti at the same time.
it's unfortunate. Those tires cost like I think it's
I don't know if it would sound like that at all.
I think it's like 14,000 a piece. It's silly.
That's ridiculous, but they go darn fast.
I mean,
240 mile an hour tires.
I earn that every time a child is born on the Amazon fulfillment warehouse's floor, which is more often than you might think. But you know,
Thought I heard something. I was in the mindfulness chamber. Commerce.
I'll take a shirt of that. Oops, couldn't hear you. I'm in the Amazon mindfulness chamber.
Okay, well, we're launching our new series of NFTs right now.
Oh,
Nope,
gosh.
don't talk about that paywall yet. But
yeah, we don't talk about that
I'm just
paywall
saying
yet.
every show is going to have some horrendous art that only you can have for way too much. It's the right thing to do. Free shipping if you remember to put in the secret code we don't tell you.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. If you can guess our private key, you get free shipping.
But if
Elliptical
you
curve.
sign up with Amazon Prime for 30 days free, you get 2-day shipping. Sometimes same day, depending on your corresponding
So, dude.
area to a fulfillment warehouse. Just looking out. Just looking out.
I think Pyro Jason wants to videotape phone call a trumpet.
I think that's
Could be
illegal
wrong,
in
though.
4 states. But in one of those states, you can still do unspeakable things to animals. Nevada's weird. Or
So
so.
Pyro Jason, in the chat box there, tell us one thing about Bitcoin that you think is a valuable thing for people to know.
That was a
And
hard...
while he's doing that, Jax, I'm interested in tell us one factoid Bitcoin that you think is an interesting thing for people to know.
Did you say Bitcoin?
Yes.
I mean, it has to be something I don't think people know, right?
Not necessarily, just what does it mean to you?
Oh gosh.
Oh, I'm thankful for
I just handed him the football. He's got the code to the nuclear weapons.
yeah. Fun fact about Bitcoin is that it's cheaper to transfer Litecoin, so it's best to just start investing in that instead if you plan on moving it ever. Fun fact about Bitcoin number 1.
For one.
That's a
Is
solid...
that Litecoin's transactions are cheaper. Maybe every fun fact about Bitcoin, I'll just say other coins that are better at doing specific things.
That's not the worst strategy for advice.
But at the end of the day, they're not Bitcoin, which is fun fact number 2 about Bitcoin, is there is no other Bitcoin.
It's very true. Some of the most well-known people in cryptocurrency disagree with you, and they're unbelievably wrong, which makes things really interesting.
Fun fact number 3 about Bitcoin is that there are a lot of people who are wrong about how many Bitcoins there are.
Oh.
Yeah, how many Bitcoins can exist at once there, Gordon?
There can only ever be Club 21. There can only ever be 21 million Bitcoins.
Hmm.
It's okay to say plural. There's a very angry ant crowd out there who really want plural of Bitcoin to be Bitcoin.
Those sound like people who aren't Jeff Bezos.
Well, you already have an S at the end of your name, so you really can't mess that up.
And a Z. Or Z.
I like Pyro Jason's number 4th, the fourth point about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is a good buy.
Oh, I thought you meant that the private key guess was pee pee poo poo.
No, that's not it.
That's
I'll
not
try.
it.
That's just one of the 12.
No, that's
Didn't go anywhere.
shout out to our boy Michelangelo. We miss you.
No.
We miss your content. But hey, you sure were a thing.
Wow. Bezos is getting based, man. Pesos! It's with pesos.
All right, so genuine side note, Jeffrey Bezos would be hilarious, and when we have some, confetti budget, we should do a base Jerry Bezos, but Bezos.
Did you call him Jerry?
Pesos.
Yes.
Sorry, you
sometime, Jerry.
so you sometimes go by Jerry, huh?
Trigger warning. Oh, hey.
I guess real final thoughts. One Doge equals one Doge.
So real.
I'm not afraid to, take the controversial opinion and run with
How
it.
can you say something so controversial, yet so brave?
That's out of this world.
I was for a moment.
Crab nut.
And then, I guess for that moment, someone else was the richest man on Earth.
I wondered who.
Oh, he did not think that one through.
He did not.
He's alive, so the markets can recover now. Really thought that it was a strange time to decide to, let's risk space all of a sudden. Things are tender.
Notice
Planet
we're not
Blue.
running into the sea. We're not running deep into the depths. You ever wonder about that?
Oh, the oceans are rising.
I don't know.
Nature is healing.
Cthulhu
Convenient.
is coming.
Oh.
And Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. And Cthulhu
Your deepest
has
nightmares will come true. Only on Amazon Prime.
Cthulhu
That's
has
hilarious.
just signed up for his 30-day free Prime membership and has subscribed to Crypto Cringe Show. I didn't just stroke out and forget what I'm doing.
Like somebody whispered to him,
Right.
C-C-S.
Sorry.
C-C-S.
I was doing that thing where I like to pretend to be America's most powerful political figurehead for a moment. It was fun to pretend.
I just had a flashback about sand crabs. I missed that last part. I was jumping for my crowbar.
Oh, yes, of course.
It suddenly had a flash of sand crabs.
Gordon's PTSD is no joke.
It's no right. Yeah, his triggers are very strange.
As Matt will travel. It's starting to feel like it's going to be one of those telethons. We should be raising money for something.
Ourselves.
I want to go to space
Very
again.
good idea.
Space gas is expensive. Give me money.
You know what? Never mind.
It's true. I never mind. Uncomfortable silence.
Yeah, I don't know how to end these things.
That's the challenge. See,
If
we're
you
gonna have
hover-
some
Does anybody know?
some things that you can.
Does anybody know any new swears?
So you want to hover
No.
over the X on the top right of OBS?
You just opened that up, feller. We have 3 viewers. There's a 33 and 1/3% chance something bad is about to happen. Mr. Bezos.
So we're gonna play a reverse Uno card. Anybody who can post some new swear words in the live chat, I'll donate to you.
Somebody get Jeff Bezos off of my Christian Minecraft server. Aw. You've used any of them sound effects?
I got explosions. No, that's Zenny. Oh, that's a buster.
It's up to now.
That's an explosion.
gotcha.
No, we don't get to hear him.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we really got to figure that part out.
No, you have to really figure that part out. Just have to be here.
Look, I'm busy buying space gas. I can't create a whole new streaming platform that works. Be reasonable.
Reasonable, fellas.
So, I suppose the final lesson for today is if you can get your hands on your parents' credit card, do it. And give us that money. Their money is insured. They're not going to take it away from us. We'll spend it. And then your parents they'll get that back.
So you just got 2 of 3 of the people present in trouble with a very small group of familial ties. Is all I'm going to say for now. This is for those future fans of Crypto Cringe Show.
Get those wacky numbers on the back of mommy's credit card and throw them in the chat.
He's so proud of that. All of this leads up to sign up for Prime, give me all your money.
Fun fact of Bitcoin number 5: children engage in credit card fraud immediately.
Your children, what are they going to do? Prosecute you? No.
Once upon a time, there was a site called Silk Road. And on Silk Road, all of the children could buy all of the illicit drugs they wished.
I mean, you can.
The young man who thought, hey, Bitcoin and crime, those go hand in hand, has become a martyr to the cause. Free Ross. Free Ross.
Free Ross.
Should not be paying for his crimes. Free Ross.
So, like, real talk, the entire idea that, crypto could be used for nefarious things. Like the US dollar hasn't been used to buy literal humans.
It just occurred to them 2011.
Currency? Crime! Oh,
Wait a second. Now, you've got somebody that you want to have murdered.
And
I've got weapons. What don't I have that would make it worth the risk to me? It just seems like whatever that thing is, it just hasn't been invented yet.
Mm-hmm.
One of these days, I will be able to help you with your problem.
Right.
it's amazing. I was thinking about this. I mean, it's your fault. We were so close to signing off, but now it's not happening. Oh! Lord,
Yeah,
that
you
was
just got
terrifying.
Bezos.
You just got
It's
Bezos.
It's a full Bezos out tonight.
It sounds like a poker hand. Full house.
Oh, dude, I'm out. I thought I had some good cards, but you got a full Bezos.
You got a full Bezos.
That's great. And I was just thinking about their shows that deal with cyber crime. They try to stay hip on the different types of things that are going on. And there were always these situations where you have like a high up diplomat and somebody kidnaps their daughter or something, and they want to extort money from them, and there's the money drop and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to hack into the system and find the GPS location of the person and all this kind of stuff. No mention of Bitcoin. No,
They're asking for $10 million in cryptocurrencies.
Right.
2002, they weren't using any. In 2006, 7, 8, they weren't using any.
Right.
Suddenly, all of the attention is on, protecting us from, ransomware and extortion and all this kind of stuff. Okay, our government, who needs a few more months to decide whether a stablecoin is stable or not, they can start suggesting some framework for something that's been around for 7 years, 6 years. They were not clever enough to recover half of the Bitcoin in one day for that ransomware thing.
Right.
We're either in on it or an entirely different thing was actually taking place. That's just a bunch of hooey. It's my new swear word. It's old.
All right, I'm not going to be paying you for that one because I knew it already.
Bunch of whip-whap, riff-raff.
All right, so this is the
Meddling
Crypto
kids.
Cringe show, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to use my platform as Jeff Bezos to talk to the younger generation here. We started getting to this earlier in the week, but Jax, why don't they have guns in Naruto?
Look, man.
They got the radio. They got the gunpowder. They've got electricity. They have
let me give you
plumbing.
the answer you're looking
They have
for, okay?
infrastructure. Okay.
There's one answer to this question, and is that if the Naruto universe had guns, powerful ninja tools such as guns, then 1010 would have had to be useful. We couldn't have that.
Couldn't have that. I mean, the same argument, of course, applies to non-Japanese media, such as Harry Potter. It's like, okay, yeah, wands are cool and all, but what about like a 50 cal 2 miles away? It's gonna do a lot more than just take that guy's nose off. All right. And then just now I'm just complaining about things. And this is one that Gordon has opinions on. Batman is the worst. Here's why. Dude literally lets all these just insane people run around and continue to kill people. And it's like, I'm not gonna kill them. It's against my code. Bro, dude's got a body count in triple digits. Sack up and kill this guy. Stop having conversations with him. I don't understand the media. I don't. I'm an old fogey. Look, I'm Jeff Bezos. I got space brain. Okay.
See, the way Batman thinks, he wouldn't leave it up to the local government to create the jails. He would have the Bat Jail, where they can't escape every month.
Wait, doesn't he fund the jail?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Well, I think one thing to his credit in an awful city like Gotham, as from Bat
You
Thumb as opposed
mispronounced
to
Atlanta.
Batman.
Go on.
Gotham. It's not a rehabilitation facility. It is a prison where they punish people unless they're crazy like the Joker, in which case they're just doing a bad job at the asylum. But yeah, so it's not about rehabilitating people, it's about punishing them. So he wants to see the bad guys not get away with things and for them to be punished. The problem is, that basically everybody is corrupt in Gotham, and those who aren't corrupt are just big kind of brainless thugs. so they're never hip to the, the breaking out of the jail
Mhm.
and of the things. But yes, I hear you. I mean, with Batman, you want to focus on the cool gadgets and the utility belt.
Well, you do. I don't. I'm angry that he's not killing people. I mean, he's running around with these
There should be more
batarangs,
done.
and anyone who knows anything about hand-to-hand combat is like, you pull an edged weapon out, and it's not. You don't fight with an edged weapon. You kill with an edged weapon. It's not.
You can walk straight up the side of a building
Great.
with
Why
rope.
is the death ratio so high? Why are these people alive? Like, I'm not one to seek these things out, but the Chinese psyop that is TikTok keeps pushing random comic book people in my For You page, and I'm just, I'll watch these snippets. I'm like, this makes no sense. These are awful people. Why aren't they dead? Of course, I look at our correction system. I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of people who need to, hit the snooze button on life who just aren't. And then
There's a good chance that if they do another Dark Knight series, that the sidekick's going to be a social worker.
Oh, that'd be.
So I'm kind of thinking it's
Oh,
going in the other direction.
That'd be great. Oh man.
Instead of Commissioner Gordon, there's the red phone for the commissioner, and then there's likely a slightly off pink phone for the shrink. So yeah, we've got Scarecrow. He's making all the people hallucinate and go insane. Would you come with us to provide a proper medication to get him stable?
Right. Can you can you get them? Can we microdose shrooms to get them out of that bad place?
It's good for migraines.
It's good for it's good for a lot of stuff.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, that's what it would be about. Bad man instead of Batman. The real depth of that to explore is the Thumb movies.
Oh, of course, yes.
It's really the stroke of genius. You have Thumb Wars, you have Thumb, you have God Thumb, you have the Thumb Witch, the Blair Thumb, with Jish and Totally Sharky Complete. Brilliant stuff.
Have you considered that those are over 20 years old now?
It's like they were made yesterday.
I don't
They're
think
prophetic.
that's accurate. No, you know what? No, I retract my statement. Jeff Bezos, retract my statement.
They were digit prophecies.
I mean, consider annoying.
Digitized. They're thumbs.
Oh my goodness, we went into peak dad humor real fast.
Children, it's really important that you get 8 hours of sleep every night.
Accurate.
Not a penny more.
Oh gosh.
And you can't do that on averages. That's
Mhm.
what you and I have done, Mr. Bezos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
If
no.
I add yours to mine and divide by 2, then we're both fine.
Accurate. Jax, before we sign off, do you have any media gripes?
Media gripes.
Media gripes. Like, in the same spirit of, heck the Batarang, here's a Beretta.
Oh man. I don't think I'm consuming enough media right now to think of one off the top of my head.
Good problem to have.
I think Pyro Jason just posted a potato. So
The meme folks need to explain to me what potato represents. I now understand corn is in place of stonks or buying the crypto. I want to buy more corn, but I do not know what potato means.
there's potato camera or potato cam. Film this on a potato. It's
That still doesn't mean anything to me.
It means the resolution is poor.
This episode, we have Crypto Cringe Show Generations,
Mhm.
where we try to bridge the gap between the ages so that they have any such and so forth clue as to what is being spoken in modern vernacular. You'd look at Gordon and you think, yeah, strong silent type. Get him out of episode 2. Just never stops talking. The
Steam
greatest irony.
launched their own console.
Yeah, Misty.
Are you guys aware of this?
How you feeling? Yes.
Okay. So what if Half-Life 3
It's small.
is an exclusive for the Steam
They
console?
went VR with Alex,
Right.
and they had that. From what I understand, I watched somebody do a Let's Play because I wasn't there. They put all the focus on her,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end they had it kind of be like a handoff. It's like me, and now Gordon, it's going to be you, and here's Crowbar kind of thing. So I think a lot of people saw that as that was Half-Life 3, but really it's not. But it was kind of an experiment in VR. I don't think that they go bigger into smaller.
I mean,
That's my thought. But you're probably right. They probably would. We've only waited 20 years. Let's make it tiny.
well, I'm sure they'd still do it for Steam on the computer, but people with the Xbox 5 and the PlayStation 360, they wouldn't be able to get it.
Mm-hmm. I see people holding this device, and the controllers are very similar. I'm sure that's the idea. It's basically like holding an Xbox controller or a Sony controller, and that's just not how I function. I was born to operate a computer with a real keyboard. So for that reason, I'm Barbara, Barbara, comma, space, and then I say something else entirely. But yeah, no, I think that a grandiose 10-year in the making game project should have a large screen. I think that it should take all of the graphics card processing you can throw at it, and it should look just splendid. Old people should not have to squint.
Old people should not have to squint. You're not going to get that anywhere else but the Crypto Cringe Show.
Except Biden should.
He got chocolate chip ice cream, guys. It's a pretty big deal. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I don't know where he was, but he was trying to act like a normal pleb, and he was checking out at some little country store somewhere, and the lady asked him about something that was going on in the world, and it became incredibly uncomfortable because all the press is there, and she was just being polite to Mr. Aging President, and it was, I swear, it felt like 12 minutes to try to get to an. I mean, it was kind of like, how's the weather there in Cuba? And he's thinking, well, the thing is, I've been briefed, and the thing with weather, see, they don't tell you. I was just like, come on, man, the weather.
I don't want to
I mean,
get
this
in
went
trouble.
on for like 12 minutes, and lady's like, I'm still holding your change, Mr. President.
Right. Yeah, it was,
Oh my gosh, this person.
thank goodness he's the most popular.
I'm going back to oh no. Gordon Freeman needs to be able to remember the names of the actual places. We don't go Ravenholm. I'm going back to Ravenholm where it's safe.
That is
Where the crazy people get electrocuted, and it's Halloween all year round.
I'm really weighing that as a potential positive. Which when at least there it makes sense. Thing want kill you, you kill thing. Done.
Right. Well, yeah, I will be contributing to the cringe by helping bring some people into Gordon's reality, because there are a lot of parallels of the Half-Life world and the technology that we're living in, and this crypto cringe thing that is crypto. So there's a lot of fun stuff like that. We will be updating our non-mining gear. But just, you think Black Mesa itself is code for Bitcoin mining.
Right.
You enter the facility with the BMRG. I mean, it's the Bitcoin mining railway system. It's actually where I worked before all this came down. Way back in 2004, I was working the Bitcoin. Who is the real Satoshi?
It was
Satoshi.
no, the other one.
Well, there's Benson. He played Alex's dad. You got to be way older to understand that one. Stumped him. Bezos is stumped.
Head in clouds, brain smooth. Free Amazon.
Reptile.
30 days. So if no one just really hacks things up, we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe more coherent.
Maybe.
For programming.
All right. So, final thoughts.
I want you to make a compilation of how many final things have been mentioned.
Oh gosh, that's proper cringe. Okay.
Gleaming.
Bitcoin fact number 6. We'll see you tomorrow.
That was my Christian banger.
Oh gosh. Did you say Christian or Christmas?
I think I said Christian. But Christmas banger. Number 7.
That's
Cling, cling.
all right. Look out next time, guys. We'll be back with the top 10 Christian bangers. Only available to you. Brought to you by Jeff Bezos, Crypto Gordon
Bezos
Freeman,
banger list.
and Jax of the Crypto Cringe Show. I've been your host, Jeff Bezos, and I absolutely didn't go to space